Welcome, misfits, to this night's Skeptic Bible Study, episode 19, Lawbringer. If you're a fan of the Ten Commandments, then boy, do we have good news for you. On
Keep 'em
this
coming.
episode, woohoo, I know,
Keep
we're
coming.
moving
Keep
along.
the laws coming.
On this episode, we get a bunch more laws and rules from the big G-Man himself.
He only wants
Not
rules so we can break them.
Not the YouTuber or the interdimensional humanoid who can manipulate space-time. Wait, that actually kind of fits. Anyway, let the fun begin. We'll begin our Skeptic Bible study with the hosts reading this week's chapters, along with the annotations at the side. Don't mind if we take less than literal interpretations of characters' names. However, everything else on the page will be left as is,
Oh boy, it will.
or as was put together via committee. Either way, at the back half of the show, we'll switch into our open mic format for anyone to speak their mind on what we just read. At that point, come look for the link in chat to come join our Skeptic Bible study. Or throughout the show, send me your questions, comments, or thoughts by tagging me at Amy Newman on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitch. After the podcast, if you're still looking for some memeing action, we'll be heading to our Discord for debates, discussions, or just some chilling. Lastly, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that all button icon so you can get live reminders. And if you'd like to support the show for some unique perks with the aim of creating more content, you can find that at patreon.com/Amy Newman, including awesome Patreons like K.O. Champ and Oz from the Atheist Round Table. All right, with that, let's see what's on the menu. Before we begin, I'm going to start by going over the specific Bible we'll be reading, along with some helpful category marks. Categories, you say? Why, yes I do. You see, we're going to be reading from the Skeptic's Annotated Bible, an entire King James Bible lovingly fawned over by a skeptic who decided he would add his own notations. These are little flagpoles of sanity put in use to remind us that, hey, maybe slavery is evil, including categories like absurdity, injustice, and cruelty, but also a good amount of intolerance, contradictions, and conflicts with science or history. That doesn't mean it's not packed full of misogyny, false prophecy, and some questionable biblical family values. Now, we won't skip the good parts that the Bible has, only that these passages seem far fewer in number than any priest or pastor seems to suggest. So without further ado, won't you come join the Skeptic crew? Woohoo! So,
Woohoo!
how are you tonight, James? And are you ready for some law-giving excitement?
Oh, I am. Just curious, did the sun come up where you were at today?
You know, now that you mention it, the end of the world didn't happen.
Because I was looking outside all day looking for the demons that were going to be out killing
Sure.
people in the streets. I was worried. I was at home. I kept looking out. I didn't see anything. I didn't hear anything unusual. The sun came up this morning. A little worried about whether it's going to come up this morning in a few hours, but I guess we'll have to see what happens. Maybe the apocalypse is running a little late. I don't know. Maybe the devil and they just couldn't get their act together and they need another day.
They just couldn't get their act together. And if you're
Yeah.
missing context here, on our last episode of Midnight Ranting, Night of the Living Jesus, we had some prophecy that was supposed to happen on Easter Sunday with the end of the world. And like most prophecy,
We had 3 days of darkness that was predicted.
ooh,
I don't know if
and
God was going to turn the sun off or just shield the sun to hide it, but yeah, I don't know.
yeah,
3 days
I
of
don't know.
darkness.
Yeah, it was 3 days of darkness, and then I think he said like 40 days of, I don't know, a lot more non-fun, because like the first 3 days were like destruction and darkness and
Yeah,
horribleness.
you won't be able to go out in the streets because the demons will be out there killing people.
And then I think he ran out of ideas. So he's like, and then the 40 days are like really worse than that. What's the
Amen.
worst? It's worse. Totally worse.
Amen. Amen.
Amen. And then
Amen.
a final tribune where they all go up. But surprise, surprise, we're doing this podcast. Well,
We are
that's
here.
amazing, James. We're here.
We're here. Maybe he contacted Pastor Bob Larson to remove the demons from Earth to cancel the apocalypse or postpone it. Maybe I don't know. Maybe people got those emojis going and the demons and everything. They just couldn't take it. So like, fine, we are not going to have the apocalypse now because these damn emojis.
Those damn emojis. You know, James, I used to think that it was a cross that would scare away the demons. I now know the real power. Oh, bless me. Bless me. Send your emojis. Oh, we're sending them out. Sending them out. Oh,
Send them out.
That's right. We cured her multiple demon personality disorder.
Your emojis are not working. I guess you didn't renew your Sword Bearer membership, so just process that payment, and then you'll be able to send the emojis.
Oh, and buy my book. And all right. We'll say hello to everyone that's watching out there in chat. Pavel, Robert, the Italian Stallion, Comrade Jerry, Meaning Forge, Aunt Jer, Randolph Richardson, Doorknob, Titan Uranus, anyone who I didn't meet, Reservoir Gore. And we're going to start today. Jim, woohoo! We're going to be starting today in the book of Exodus, chapter 21.
Well, that's like a who's who of hell. Like any old cell block in hell, you'd find a lot of those names. So, yeah.
And we are selling timeshares in hell.
Yes.
Constant reminder. Right next to the Lake of the Damned. It's actually really lovely once you get used to the screaming.
A nice view of the non-Christian children being tortured. It's very nice.
Exactly.
Well, they're being tortured for the glory of God. That's the important thing that you need to know. God gets glory from their suffering, because he does. And I see we're starting right off with slavery. So what a great
and thank you for that reminder
to start off. Yeah.
So let's see what's on the menu. Right off the bat, we're starting on a wholesome topic, I like to think. Slavery.
Right after giving the 10 Commandments, the first thing God needed to do was to set up the rules for slavery. That was like, okay, I got you guys out of slavery, out of the house of bondage, through the wilderness of sin. Now,
which I go to often.
Often enough, yes. Now, the first thing we need to do is to hammer out this slavery thing,
Once we get that. And speaking of hammer, who wouldn't be without or should I say, what would it be without a little bit of injustice? Because it's our first category tonight, right over here in our annotations. But it's not just unjust, because just injustice, I feel like that would be a little bit dull. But it's a good family romper. It's unjust for the whole family, which I feel is nice.
It's like G-rated injustice. It's for everybody.
Exactly. It's
Injustice for the mom and dad, the kids, grandma and grandpa, aunts and uncles, all unjust. Great.
And all right, let's get into it. The book of Exodus, chapter 21, on slavery. Now these are the judgments which thou shalt set before them. If you buy a Hebrew servant, I'm sorry, slavery once again got kind of stuck in my throat. If you buy a Hebrew servant,
as you would,
years,
right?
As you would.
Yeah, right. If you go to the human market and you just, hey, I'm going to buy this Hebrew servant. Why not?
But James, everyone was doing it. It was the hot thing at the time, okay? God had to fit in. It was peer pressure, actually.
That's true. I mean, imagine if he told his people no slavery and they're like, but God, the Canaanites are doing it. The Egyptians are doing it. Yeah, Bobby's mom lets him do that. Why can't we do it?
Exactly.
And God is like, fine, fuck.
Fine, I'll let you have slaves. And all right. If thou buy a Hebrew servant, 6 years he shall serve. Oh, 6 years. That's not so bad for very specifically a Hebrew servant. He shall serve. And in the 7th, he shall go out free for nothing.
It's like a lease. Like you're leasing
There
for
you
6.
Exactly. 6 years. It's kind of vague. Is it 6 years for everything? Is it you steal something, is it 6 years? You kill someone, is it 6 years? I don't know. Is this even for punishment? Who knows? If he came in by himself, Kinky, he shall go out by himself. If he were married, then his wife shall go out with him. God continues his instructions to Moses, the thick darkness, saying, if you buy a Hebrew slave, you must set him free on the 7th year. All right.
I think we're going to get to a loophole here, though.
Uh-oh. Well, I was going to say, 6 years, what could go wrong? And specifically a Hebrew servant, I'm sure everyone else gets exactly the same fair treatment. If his master, slavery stuck in my throat again, have given him a wife, then she have born him sons or daughters. The wife and her children shall be her masters. And he shall go out by himself. If you are given him a wife and she bears children, then you get to keep the wife and kids.
Huh.
That doesn't seem fair. You're going to take little Johnny too? Okay.
For life, yeah.
For life?
Apparently,
but okay.
Yeah.
And if it does. Yeah, now that you say that, it's for life. It's not where we've already walked away from the 6 years, or at least it doesn't imply that. And if the servant shall plainly say, plainly, I love my master, my wife, and my children, I will not go out free. Then his master, I know what you're about to say. Then his master shall bring him onto the judges. There's my little. He shall also bring him to the door, or onto the doorpost, and his master shall bore his ear through and all, and he shall serve him forever.
Like praise I am that I am was going to allow you to do to him.
That's right. We also have a Yahweh hotline.
Praise would go to he'd go to the doorpost and that you put it all through his ear. And gladly serve you forever.
Exactly. Forever and ever and ever. Though we don't have heaven. Once again, not
Apparently
yet.
that lasts to heaven, but the option is not to say that well, my master's a dick, but I do love my wife and kids. What do I do then? That's not one of the options listed up there. Yeah. Okay.
And just a shout out, Randolph Richardson says, please say hello to Tart for me. Oz
Hello
and
to
Nate were
Tart
just
for me.
promoting this live stream, really? From their live call-in Tart show.
What an awesome guy Oz is. He is such a great guy. And
And
Nate and Pasta Mike and the whole
you
crew over there at
guys
Tart.
should go visit Tart because they host not just one show, not just two shows. They have a whole host of awesome content and awesome people there. So you should go check them out.
It's like constant debauchery. It's like the Sin Channel. Like if they had that on TV, they'd be like constantly the Sin Channel. Yeah.
It'd be like a wilderness of sin. Is that what you're trying to tell me?
Basic, or like reality TV shows, but from hell.
And so this is one that I've seen Matt Dillahunty go over a lot because
This is a very good one.
Before I've even read it in context for the first time myself, which is this is kind of, it starts out almost so good. I don't want to say good, but almost defensible. I don't really know what 6 years or what the crime is, so it's so vague. But it moves into this like, well, he has a wife and kids. Well, of course I love my wife and kids, or most of them are going to love their wife and kids. And so, of course, they're going to have that slave forever. They're going to get a whole family of slaves. The whole family is his forever. The master, specifically the male master, not to get too feministy on you, but... Oh, but I see that's on the menu next. So if you have given him a wife and she bears the children, then you get to keep the wife and kids. If you refuse to leave his family when his 7 years are up, then bore a hole through his ear and keep him forever. Just like it
Makes
says.
sense.
So
Makes sense. Clearly, that is so full of wisdom and knowledge that had to come from a supernatural source that is well beyond the capacity for mankind to understand or even to comprehend how wise
James,
that is.
It's so evil that it's actually wise. We'll understand it once we have the higher IQ of G-Man.
Like in the trillions, like IQ in the quadrillions, just
Exactly.
Because no human would like have the
fearsome and coffee.
No human would like be able to just come up with that or to put that out there like as if it's like a good thing, but you can only do that if you're God.
If you're God. And okay, let's get to some real fun morality on selling your daughter. Because
injustice, feminism, and family values coming up.
Once again, James, you just need to understand the context. Everyone was selling their daughter at the time. Okay? God just had to fit in. He didn't want to be like the uncool kids. Do you want God to be like the uncool kids, James?
Well, they were going to do it anyway, so God just made rules for it. That way, it wasn't just a Wild West of daughters selling.
You go. Exactly. Maybe the slavery outside was even worse. Oh, the slavery that you could imagine. They were hanging them upside down and whipping their nipples or something.
They made them listen to Bruno Mars on loop all day while they were working, and yeah.
Are you trying to tell me that's your personal hell? It's okay. It's okay. There's everyone's personal.
They wouldn't let me. They wouldn't let me praise God. I couldn't pray, but you know, they wouldn't let me sing psalms to Jesus. How cruel! How terrible!
But if once again, the serpent is kind of like on the sidelines right now. If this was like the NBA, the serpent would just be chilling there. And then version 2, they throw him the towel, and they're like, "You're in, boss. You're the devil. Yes, I get to mess everyone's life up over and over and over again to test God. Probably. It doesn't that mean you're doing God's work and you're actually under his laws and all that stuff, and you're torturing the specific people that are against him." You know, now that you say that, that's a little bit less rebel-y. I was kind of going through a phase, but maybe
You think he's on the payroll, maybe? Kind of?
I don't understand the whole Satan dynamic. Like, they say he's a rebel who went against it, but then if he's a rebel who's going against God, then he would be in hell amassing an army to try and go again. He wouldn't be sitting there playing torture porn with the people who specifically hate God's enemies. Those should be his boys. He should be like, "Hey, B, how you? New people, how are you doing?"
Look at God. What a dick. He's an asshole.
I guess we'll get there.
Yeah.
Woohoo! Amaretto in the house.
Oh, boy. I'm selling amaretto.
Bird and
Big Scream Bird.
Here.
We got the whole crew. All the sinners are in here tonight.
All the heathens.
All the heathens.
And okay, let's
50%
get back.
more sin. Yes.
I feel like this is an often quoted. You're going to quote this in the future for wisdom. Like when you're in a tough time, you're going to remember,
like,
I don't know if I'm going to pass my test. And you think to yourself, and if a man sells his daughter to be a maidservant, she shall not go out as the men servants do.
Oh.
And it gets you through that test. I remember
that in Sunday school. Yeah, they talk about that all the time in Sunday school. How fair and just God is. Yeah.
And hi, Brian Stevens. Woohoo! And okay. And once again, that's really weird. Not only are they selling daughters into slavery, they really are like, look, we have been kind of treating all the slaves unisex so far. And I don't know. We just need to make sure that the women are below the men, even in slavery. It just doesn't feel right. We kind of have like a hierarchy, and the animals are somewhere down there. The other
Why
animals.
Why would we let the women go out? Why would we let them go out? Why would they want to go out? The master will take care of them.
It's sometimes good to separate your livestock. You know what I mean? And you just got to get your daughter and just separate her out.
It can't be like on the Ark where, because all the animals were vegetarian, you could have lions next to koala bears and everything would be okay because they were all vegetarian. Praise God.
Praise. All right. Moving right along. Ooh, excuse me.
So this is an interesting verse. Yeah.
If she please not her master, in erotica, that's an okay sentence. In a holy book, it gets kind of weird. I'm not going to lie. If she please not her master, who hath betrothed her to himself, then shall he let her be redeemed to sell her unto a strange nation? He shall have no power, seeing he hath dealt deceitfully with her. And if he have betrothed her unto his son, he shall deal with her after the manner of daughters. If a man sells his daughter, and if she doesn't please her new master.
Can't sell her to another country. I guess that's okay.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't even gotten up to the often quoted. I think that's one of the first often quoted atheist and pagan, the people who attack the three monotheistic, on selling your daughter. We're getting up to Leviticus, which
kind of sticks out there like a sore thumb. It's kind of just right there.
It's a little bit.
It's kind of like, that whole slavery thing that I got you out of? Yeah, about that. Can we go back to that whole owning slaves thing? It's just not us.
Yeah, it's not us, it's
About
other
that.
people. Well, what? You want to go back to the house of bondage? Well, not us, but we want to bring
A
other
little
people
bit,
to
but not the
our
Bible.
house of bondage.
Wilderness of sin.
Praise God.
Praise Jeebus. Or just Yahweh. Can't blame Jeebus yet. All right.
Jesus loves me, this you know. For the
Jesus
Bible.
loves little children, especially the ones that apparently can be sold into slavery. Okie
He loves
dokie.
the little slaves.
All right. On polygamy, which is not something you'd expect from the quote-unquote Jado-Christian law set, okay? If he take him another wife, but hey, see, this is her food, her remnant, and her duty of marriage shall he not diminish. And if he do not these three onto her, then shall she go out free without money.
See that no fucking alimony, bitch.
Woo-hoo. And once again, I almost skipped our Bible. We have been talking categories. Once again, isn't it fair for the women? Obviously, we see who gets the better stick in this book. What's the opposite of third, second, and first? It's like negative third wave feminism. It's like you have a minus side next to it. And then you have, ho, ho, ho.
And then the Bible is somewhere still further away from that, even.
And of course, you got to keep those family values. These are the type of family values I don't think Christians talk enough about.
About polygamy family values, yeah.
Exactly.
But yeah, if he takes another wife, he still has to feed the first wife. He's got to give her a roof over her head and whatnot, But if he decides not to feed her, care for her, then I guess she can go, but not with any money. She goes with just the shirt on her back. That's it.
Just the shirt on her back.
Just the shirt on her back.
Just a reminder, or if you've just joined us, we are Skeptic Bible studying on Lawbringer. Ha ha ha. Ha ha. And if you have any comments or thoughts or even questions about what we're reading or the annotations on the side, feel free to tag me at Amy Newman. I can see all of your comments on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook. So don't feel shy no matter what platform you're on. And all right, moving right along.
Or maybe you can just pray to God and he'll beam them to her head. So then, yeah, we can get them that way too.
So we're coming across. I now have freed my sexy time whip for just all the sexy time slavery. I think this is my my new slavery one. And now we have not only good helpings of laughter, because we gotta laugh, folks. Come on, it's a little bit funny. Sell your daughter into slavery. Come on.
Polygamy, then murder.
Come on. And speaking of which, we have murder. A little bit of violence. Who doesn't like violence?
Well, God loves it, so.
Loves it. Love
Can't get enough
violence.
of it.
Exactly. Shout out to Peacemaker in the new Suicide Squad trailer. Looks good. Don't fail me, James Gunn. Looks good.
I'm a man of war.
Just reminded me of it. Very, very Peacemaker-ish. Has a quote that's like, "I love peace. I don't care how many men, women, or children I have to get to acquire it." Something like that to get there. He that smiteth a man so that he die shall surely be put to death. Oh, man. And if a man lie not in wait, but odd, deliver him into his hand, right into that hand, baby, then I will appoint thee a place whither he shall flee. But if a man come presumptuously upon his neighbor to slay him with guile. See, that sentence was just a roller coaster. Could have went anywhere. Thou shalt take him from mine altar that he may die.
So what is he saying in 13 there? It's like, but if God wants somebody to kill someone and he gives them to that person, then he'll let the guy who killed them, he'll give them a hideout so they won't get caught.
Free? I don't know.
I'll make sure that nobody finds out who they are. I'll let them hide out for a little bit.
Shh, let him hide out. After you murder someone, you have to hide out. That's kind of what you do, isn't it?
Apparently, wisdom from God.
It all makes sense. We are the Lawbringer. The Lawbringer.
Like the lawgiver from Judge Dredd, which was that the special gun.
Also good movies. See, we're just full of pop culture here tonight, folks.
We got some very special categories here.
So, where are we moving? On disobedient children and slave stealers, which once again is not a sentence that you hear very often.
How would you mix the two up?
Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man or Ben Affleck as Batman. I'm biased. I like the Nolan Batman series better. So on those two, I have to go with Robert Downey Jr. I have to see the new Snyder cut though. So maybe he wins me over. Might win me over. Who knows?
Oh. Praise the Joker.
Praise I am. Praise the Joker.
Thank you, Robert.
And all right, on disobedient children and slave stealers, sentences that you always like to hear.
Yeah, those two are just go hand in hand.
Like peanut butter and chocolate.
Children and slaves. Okay, all right. Come on, God.
And he smiteth his father or his mother, who knows what of the other you pick, shall be surely put to death. And he that stealeth a man and selleth him, or if he be found in his hand, well, I mean, come on, it's late night. What are you going to do? It's back then. He shall surely be put to death. And he that curseth his father or his mother shall surely be put to death. Well, at least they're treating women fairly at once, okay? Come on now. It's your mom or your dad.
Right, yeah.
Oh, and I keep on getting ahead of myself. As we've just witnessed, this has been not only some Jado-Christian family values, not only is it packed full of lots of pokey violence, not only does this seem a little bit unjust, but you can interpret this any way you want. Woo! And many versions do, apparently, because that's what that annotation's telling us. All right. We're reading the Skeptic's Annotated Bible, which is a version of the King James Bible.
Not the Sinner's Bible.
Not the Sinner's.
But,
and also a good one.
Right. Because how many kids have never cursed or done anything bad to their mother or father? I feel like everybody would be okay with that. It wouldn't be like a mass bloodbath.
Not at all. No. Once again, this comes from up high. This morality,
Right.
even if it doesn't make sense to our puny little minds, it actually does if you don't think about it.
I mean, yeah. You
Or
look out.
if it's that the mind, it's so smart. It's just you got to be outside time and space. It's like time and space smart.
I mean, you're in your backyard, you're barbecuing something, then you look over at your neighbor, and he's strangling his like 2-year-old daughter, and it's like, oh, what happened? Oh, she threw a piece of paper at her mother. Oh, okay, makes sense. Continue.
Yeah, makes sense. Probably need death. You need a
Right.
little death.
He threw something at her mom. That's it. Got to kill her.
Gotta kill her. Reservoir Gore. Reservoir. I saw. Smith and Curseth. Did everyone have a list back then? Oh my
Absolutely.
God. Yes, they did. Except
Absolutely.
Sodom and Gomorrah. The nuke took the lisp off. I saw another comment,
but it did it justly and lovingly. It was actually God being merciful to those people when He killed them. Yes, it was an act of mercy, divine mercy.
See, what we need is a Nolan Bible. See, they'd be much more exciting. Much. Convinced me Batfleck is crap, Nolan Batman, but yeah, hey, you know what? I feel like the DC universe will eventually get things together. I feel that I've been told there's an internal struggle right now between two sides, the Snyderverse and the not. But we'll see. We'll see who wins. And okay, moving right along, because we don't want to straw man the Bible, and I'm excited. James, I'm excited. Do you see what this icon is?
I see a thumbs up.
We've
only seen that once or twice before, and we're halfway through Exodus. This is not very common.
That's true, but ladies and gentlemen, there's good stuff in the Bible. It happens. It's right there. We're about to read it.
I mean, a broken clock is right twice a day. This one would be like a broken clock being right once every 4 months, but hey.
I mean, I hope it makes up for the daughter slavery thing, but, let's find out. Hey. On assault. And if men strive together, and one smote with a... Sorry, you're going to have to read that again. Here we go. And if men strive together, and one smite together with a stone, or with his fist, and he did not, but keepeth his bed every once in a while. I'm like, did the Bible just write that? Yes, they did. If he rises again and walk abroad upon his staff, kinky, then shall he that smote him be quit. Only he shall pay for the loss of his time, and shall cause him to be thoroughly healed. If a man injures another man by striking him with a stone or with his fist, he must pay for the injured man's loss of time and medical treatment until he's thoroughly healed. Okay.
Well, why though why are they like so specific? Like, what if it's not a stone? What if it's like a stick? And you like, oh, it says a stone or my fist. I hit him with a stick. So that means I don't have to do shit. He's on his own. So I didn't hit him with a stone or with
an arrow.
Fist.
What happens if you take an arrow to the knee?
Yeah. I mean, I bludgeoned him, bashed his head in with a baseball bat, but it doesn't say, it says stone or fist. I didn't use either one of those. So, hey, I'm good.
I don't feel like that's fair. I used to be an adventurer like you.
Why couldn't they just say if a man with anything harms another man. That would make more sense, but whatever. Oh,
Also, hi Ian and hi Nick.
Nick. So here we're going back to Yahweh's slave beating rods, guaranteed to work forever.
That's right.
Yeah. You never want to. You need to have one handy whenever you need to beat a slave.
When you need some sort of instrument to beat your slave, because your pimp hand can only be strong for so long.
That's true.
You get tired.
They
You know
didn't
what I
have
mean?
pimp sticks back then. They didn't have
Exactly.
wire coat hangers.
It's all making sense. Okay, so I'm noticing that the fingers kind of went away. Also, that's what she said. But yes. Ooh, excuse me. Thank Gatorade, baby.
Well, thankfully, we got to slave beating in the Bible. That's like, God, we made it this far, and now God has to give a standard for how to beat your slave.
Exactly. I mean, once again, James, it was the times. It's
Right.
kind of weird how much we have to talk about it already, and all just in the second book. But come on, James, we gotta know how to get those slaves in line. A shepherd needs to control those sheep.
He's not saying to feed them to alligators, so I guess
Exactly. It could be worse. He could
Right.
be feeding them to alligators. He could be
throwing them into volcanoes,
burning them. Exactly.
Right.
Volcanoes, drowning again. We're not drowning people anymore, or at least not yet. And okay, on slave beating. Woohoo!
Violence and injustice.
And I've lost track. I used to, there actually was a point at a certain episode where I was like 51, 52, and I'm like, all right, slavery is just in here. So we're not even up to the points where the atheists quote the slavery, and they're mentioning it so much. I'm like,
God can't help it. He just can't help talking about it. He loves it. You try to change the subject, he goes right back to slavery.
But you don't have to be a slave. You can come shout memes into a void at us on our Discord, Skeptic and Ranting. Come join us. Woohoo! And all right, on slave beating. And if a man smite his servant or his maid, you couldn't have just said, are you trying to differentiate between men and women? Whatever. With a rod, and he die under his hand, he shall be surely punished. Oh my goddess, this is it. This is that quote that all the atheists quote. Notwithstanding, if he continue a day or two, he shall not be punished, for he is that sweet, sweet bling bling, baby. I have never loved human property more.
Because that's saying, like, hey, I mean, if he beats his slave so hard he can't work for a couple days, well, then that cost the master the production for those 2 days. So he lost out. So that's punishment enough,
Exactly.
He
doesn't get to use his property for those days.
Right, because he can't work because, he's beaten to a bloody pulp, but, at least he didn't die.
And once again, if we're keeping track on our categories, this isn't unjust or cruel at all. What? Don't be crazy. We're just talking about how we beat our slaves and if they die or not. Come on. Don't you do that with your kids on Sunday? Come on.
If you continue a day or two, what's a day or two? What's a day or two?
Exactly. We try. Maybe they even tried to heal him. It doesn't say you have to. Is that what that? Maybe that. I like that other one. We need to just photocopy that one good one and then just like edit it. And the funny thing is, before I even read the Bible, I was pushed select quotes before I've been reading it cover to cover. Um, I used to. I just as I messed. I used to not even. I think that it was not overblown. I'm trying to think what the exact words are. It's just so explicit. Does that make sense? I thought that it was. I'm waiting for that context, or I feel
Right.
like you would need so much context to get out of this that you would be outside of the room. The lawyer, the judge would be like, "Lawyer, please come back in."
Well, again, like a lot of these verses, they're very short, very vague, not a lot of context, and so the apologists have kind of wide latitude to just come in and kind of spin things in different directions to try to make it put their own spin on it, to make it sound maybe not as
Well,
bad
that's.
as it could be.
I mean, is apologetics? Does it have the name because they're just defending it, or is it really like there's horrible stuff and we're trying to gloss that over?
That's what I've said. Like they're apologizing for the lack of evidence that they have for their position.
And hi, Sigma, and hi, Organic Jerk. Woohoo!
Organic jerk chicken.
All right, on slave beating. Moving along. On miscarriage, abortion.
Praise God.
Praise Jeebus.
Praise I am that I am. Yahweh, Jehovah, the Lord of hosts is with us.
The Lord of hostess with the mostest. The G-Man himself, but not the YouTuber. Though, the YouTuber, I've never had a real conversation with that G-Man. He should come on if he even still exists in the YouTube space. All right, on miscarriage, abortion. Ladies and gentlemen, if you've been following with our categories, we have some lovely feminism for you tonight. But not only is it feminism, but interpretations.
Rosie O'Donnell, look what she said.
Which means there may be different changes in other texts. All right. If men strive and hurt a woman with child, so that her fruit depart from her, and yet no mischief follow, he shall surely be punished. According as the woman's husband will lay upon him. Oh, I hear epic music. Lay upon him, and he shall pay as the judges determine. And if any mischief follow, any mischief, then thou shalt give life for life, eye for eye, tooth for tooth, hand for hand, foot for foot, burning for burning, wound for wound, stripe for stripe.
Elbow for elbow.
That doesn't sound very nice, is the word I would use there. If two men fight and cause a woman to miscarry but do not hurt her, then the one who hurt her shall pay her husband an amount determined by the judges. Only if the woman dies is the punishment to be death. Lovely. Eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, hand for a hand. That is like a supervillain saying. It's funny that you say that, but I come here for an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth, a hand for a hand, a foot for a foot. Okay, but sir, this is Wendy's. Okay. Anyway.
Yeah.
More.
Yeah. Back to the finger chili incident.
Okay. This is what keeps on giving me a .amy in amy.exe. Like, why are they so explicit about slavery? Why is there so much rules about slavery? It's not like it's even one passage. And it's not like in all,
Did we
this one thing over here in the corner that we can gloss over. It's like paragraph after paragraph after paragraph of slavery.
we were talking about slave beating before, then we talked about miscarriages, and now we're back to slavery.
Now we're back to slavery.
Just making sure. That's what I thought, but
Just making sure. Because remember, what would it be if we didn't have some injustice and a little violence? There we go. It's a good combo. That peanut butter and chocolate back together. All right. More judgments on slave beating. And if a man smite the eye of his servant or the eye of his maid, once again, differentiating against sexes, don't know why, that it perish, he shall let him go free for his eye's sake. And if he smite out his manservant's tooth or his maidservant, oh, look at that, and the woman, thank you. I'm glad you're including the women. Then just say servants. Like the Bible needs an editor, like badly.
it's like specific for no reason.
Yes, exactly.
It's like the scribes were getting paid by the word, so instead just servant, man.
Yeah, I know.
And
Were you guys?
servant.
Were these scribes getting paid by the letter, by the word? What the hell is going on? Yeah, it should say, and if he smite out his servant's tooth, he shall let them go free for his, he goes free. But you could have made that sentence shorter, and I'm sure you could have made lots of this whole book. I was going to say at least the past two books that we've been reading.
Could at least 20 or 30% of it could just go. It's just redundant and needless.
Yeah. I mean, at least we're past the Dukes. If you missed that exciting chapter, I'm not even
43
sure
of them.
We named 43 Dukes. Like we were, Duke Nukem would have been jealous.
We got through 3 pharaohs, didn't name not even one of them, but we got 43 named dukes. Oh yeah,
we got 40. Yeah, it's true. We had 3 pharaohs. 2 pharaohs that were kind of like good guys, almost anti-heroes, I guess, because they did kind of enslave them and then they were nice to them. But Pharaoh Bling Bling III, the guy that still doesn't have a name, he got used as like turned into a villain by God. And okay. On ox scoring. Once again, more modern. James, we like to keep current. On ox scoring, which of course is gonna be a little bit violent. And it's also a little bit funny. Because what the hell are we talking about? But that's okay, because there are no contradictions in this book right here. There would never be contradictions in the Bible. That's it. Contradictions in the Bible? Uh-oh. James got summoned by Satan. That's okay. He's out there selling timeshares. Selling those timeshares. All right. And if an ox gore a man, I guess, or a woman too, that they die, then the ox shall surely be stoned. Ow! Ow! I'm an ox. Why are you doing this to me? I'm just a nice ox. Ow! Then his flesh shall not be eaten. Ooh, that's interesting. But the owner of the ox shall be quit. But if the ox gores a man, or woman to death, the ox shall be surely stoned, and his flesh must not be eaten. Woohoo! Hey, Sunflower, in the house. Says, Amy, do you eat pork? I know some ex-Jews still don't eat it because they're raised that way. Yes. In fact, it's actually the opposite. Even though my mom and dad are still Jewish, they eat pork and bacon because they're like, well, we're Jewish, but bacon. So they're liberalist Jews. That's why I'm probably the X. You can see the natural progression. But yes, I love bacon. I think I had some on my sandwich yesterday. Moving along. Okay. And welcome back. James came back from his timeshare. He was selling timeshares in hell. But if the ox were wont to push, I'm trying to understand that English. Let me see if it's me or the Bible. But if the ox were wont to push with his horn in time past, no, that's the Bible. And if it hath been testified to his owner, and he hath not kept him in, but that he hath killed a man or a woman, see, at least they're including the woman, the ox shall be, stop stoning me, stoned, and his owner shall be put to death. What? Whoa, what? That, I didn't think they were going to kill the owner. That's interesting. But if the ox, I'm going to have to read that paragraph again. I'm sorry. Oh, James is going back to sell timeshares. But if the ox were wont to push with his horn in time past, and he hath testified to his owner, and he hath not kept him in, but that he hath killed a man or woman, the ox shall be stoned. I knew that was coming. And his owner also shall be put to death. If an ox has a history of goring people and then kills someone, he's a repeat offender. Still, that escalated quickly. Then the ox shall be stoned, and his owner Now I'm just imagining an ox like holding up a sign. Yeah, I'm a repeat offender. So I friggin' gore people. I got these horns. What do you want me to do, buddy? And his owner also shall be put to death. Womp womp. If there be laid on him a sum of money, that's kind of like where I want my money. I like it when it's laid on me. Kind of rub it around. Then he shall give for the ransom of his life for whatsoever is laid upon him. James, if you've just joined, if you can hear, the man who had the gore killing just got killed.
What? Who got killed?
The ox, the owner of the ox. So if it's a repeat offender, if it's like the ox was raised in like a bad neighborhood and stuff, then it turns out that you also have to, repeat offender. I blame the system, honestly.
Or if the ox is a repeat offender?
That is what I'm only adding on just a little bit. That is what it says.
Huh.
Okay. So is there to be laid on him a sum of money, then he shall give for the ransom of his life whatsoever is laid upon him. I don't quite understand the concept.
So we have to keep like court records of animals?
I guess so. Whether he have gored a son or have gored a daughter, according to his judgment shall it be done unto him. If the ox shall push a manservant or maidservant, he shall give unto their master 30 shekels of silver, and the ox shall be stoned. It's so funny. I have argued so much with actual neo-Nazis that every time I hear the word shekels, it almost sounds like a curse word, because that's the funny thing about they use a lot of Yiddish too. They're, for whatever reason.
You know you love your shekels, Amy.
Shekels, baby. I know. I need my 30 shekels, baby. And I guess my slaves and my ore goring and stuff and selling my daughter into slavery. Yeah, no. Common things you got to do on Tuesdays. And if a man shall open a pit, as you do, or if a man shall dig a pit, well, that actually did happen many chapters ago.
Like Joseph? You talk about Joseph?
Joseph, yeah.
Yeah.
How all the people got to Egypt. That in fact, you can say if they didn't dig a pit, none of this would be happening right now. The Israelites would have never went to Egypt because they ended up doing that mass exodus there.
But remember, Amy, God was planning on that famine, so he had to do the whole thing to get them into Egypt so then he could rescue them for his own glory. Look what he did. He rescued them, Amy.
Also, hi, Atheist Junior, and hi, Nate Dog. So much hearts. We're learning how to sell our daughters into slavery, or whether they should, if they die, then we have to be punished. But, if we beat our slave and they get up, and they walk it off, then no biggie, no harm, no foul. Who doesn't beat their slave?
It's just a flesh wound.
Boy, it's just a flesh wound. Don't mind all the clacking sounds as I hit my desk over and over. It's just a flesh wound. Okay. If the ox shall push a manservant or maidservant, he shall, 30 shekels. And, we're opening a pit. I got all excited about the pit opening. The owner of the pit, it sounds like they're opening a small business. I didn't want to make that joke, but the more that they go into it, welcome to starting your first pit. Now that you have your kit right next to you, you're ready to begin. Pick up this included shovel to your side. Okay.
Well, it's nice that the Bible covers like all these common everyday scenarios that you would normally run into. If you make a pit, who would not want guidance on that?
And the Oz is in the house. Woohoo! Got the whole crew.
He's a myth, Oz. Yep.
Yeah, that's right. Hey, pulling me closer every day. Asking where that body is. Once again, Christians, you're telling me the body went to heaven. I feel like, why didn't all the other bodies go to heaven? Just him? But okay, that's spoilers.
They did.
They did, eventually, somewhere. Okay. The owner of the pit shall make it good, and give money unto the owner of them, and the dead beast shall be his. And if one man's ox hurts another, see, you're right. I mean, this is just common everyday scenarios. And we make fun, but this probably was common stuff back then. And I get that. I get that at the time, this was the latest technology that people were dealing
Pits. With. Yeah, everybody's got a pit.
Everyone's got a pit. And this is the rules you would make. The reason that we make fun is because it's not like a god is like writing, and then you will learn about computer chips 2,000 years from now. Just wait. Hold about it. I'm sure there's some Christian that's going to find
it'll be amazing. It'll be tremendous.
Tremendous. So I don't know. From the Holy Book, I would expect more thumbs up. We were getting, we had one good thing this whole section. So we're given money, and if one man ox hurts another, that he die, then they shall sell the live ox and divide the money of it, and the dead ox also they shall divide. Or if it be known,
they'll divide the dead ox.
Yeah, that's actually a little It reminds me of that one story. Though, is that a biblical story? I always forget that story.
Solomon with the baby. Yeah.
Is that a biblical story?
Yeah.
Or is
We'll
that-
get there eventually.
We'll get there. Okay.
But
Or is-
dividing a dead ox.
That's a little. Or if it be known that the ox hath used to push in time past, and his owner hath not kept him in, he shall surely pay ox for ox, and the dead shall be his own. If the ox gores a slave, because we talk about slaves, the owner of the ox must pay the owner of the slave 30 shekels of silver, and the ox shall be stoned. Oh, damn it, stop. I am just an ox. Why are you doing this to me? All right. So
all the other oxes would see that, and then they would know not to gore any people, right?
that's right. It's kind of like a warning if you think about it. And all right, we have just finished the book of Exodus, chapter 21. Woohoo! What do you think? It was so much wisdom, slavery, and oxes and pits.
That was a rough one. Yeah, that was a rough one. Yeah. Do you own any pits, Amy?
I can't say that I do.
And dividing a dead ox. I mean, you're gonna get the back half. I'm gonna get the middle.
Exactly. You know what? Can I get the white meat? Or are we even allowed to eat it? They at one point were making it say that I don't think you can eat it.
What else would you do with part of a dead ox? I don't know.
I don't know. Huh. Would you beat a dead ox?
I don't know. Would you stone a live ox?
I know. Oh my goddess. And okay, we're moving along into the book of Exodus, chapter 22.
Whoa! What is this on the menu here?
Holy moly.
What the hell?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the buffet. Where to even begin with
This is the wilderness of sin.
Wilderness of sin, baby, where I go to on the weekends. And all right, we start off with some injustice. Who doesn't love when things are unjust? But I also want to keep on pointing out that the Bible has no contradictions. None at all.
We haven't seen any so far.
Mm-mm. And keep it up strong, girls. I'm sure in a few thousand years, they'll get some good laws. You'll be able to vote and not be property. But today is not that day. And oh my, don't get excited. I see some sex, and we're so happy to see it. And while we're having some sex, if you're into that kind of thing, it's gonna be violent. Oh boy, man, we're don't get full. We're just halfway down. That was just the appetizer, because it's not just that it's violent. It's not just that it's sex, but it's a little bit intolerant. Oh, he's angry. He's angry.
Damn, where's Ted Bundy when you need him?
No. Oh, no. Oh, my goddess. And somehow, in the middle of everything that is going on, there is actually good stuff. There is somehow a good rule or something going on in this passage.
At least something that's not bad.
At least something's not bad. We'll find out what it is. But all that, it circles around the Judeo family values. The Judeo family values are so important. Little Johnny here is learning so much. He really is.
Because we just sold his sister to the guy down the street, and he's going to marry her.
Yay, forever. And we have a new category. I didn't have a prop ready for it last time. Ladies and gentlemen, it's politics. Can you feel the burn? Do you feel the burn, baby? We're talking about politics.
I thought it was that's a crucifix, right?
That's a crucifix.
I thought you'd
Exactly.
get a prop like Pastor Bob's crucifix.
Well, we got the crucifix right here. We got that. I'm holding it upside down. I'm gonna say purposely, and we're gonna finish it all off. I should go like this for Bernie. Brr, 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 brr. Let me tilt his hand. We're gonna finish it all off with some humor. Come on, baby. It's a little bit funny. Who doesn't like all this? All this? It's got to be funny. Gotta laugh.
That's like a Chinese buffet from hell.
Exactly. All right, more laws. Who knows what even could be in here? The fun is just beginning. All right. Are
Here
we
we
really
go.
going back into oxes? Don't ox me, baby. All right.
Nope. He needs to keep making more rules for oxes.
Or we need. You know what's funny? Oh, I remember what I wanted to say from the last time. It would have been so easy to just say, "Thou shalt not have slaves." I mean, it's an often quoted atheist talking point, but you could have just removed every mention of slavery and just replaced it with a single sentence. Single sentence. And just think of how much better this book would be. Just think of how much grief and sorrow we would have had to not have. And just think about a war that we could have avoided.
Well,
I love you. I do want to say I do. I love my Southern brothers and sisters out there. In fact, I want to go tour the South, but that's a whole nother story. And the country.
but then we wouldn't be able to hear fine Christians like Smokey Satan Praise I Am defend it. So I guess it's a trade-off.
Also, hey, Jamie. Woohoo! That's right. We don't care who you are, atheist or theist. We love you. We're just having fun reading the Bible. All right, let's get into what I assume must be amazing laws, like 2,000-year-old withstanding laws. Test of time, baby. If a man shall steal an ox or a sheep and kill it or sell it, and he shall restore 5 oxen for an ox and 4 sheep for a sheep. Okay, pay more. That almost sounds. I'm also looking for the good. I want to find. I really am. I want to find the good. If a thief be found breaking up, and be smitten, and he die, there shall be no blood be shed for him. If the sun be risen upon him, there shall be blood shed for him, for he should make full restitution. If he have nothing, then he shall be sold for his theft. If a thief is caught breaking in and is killed, the person who kills him shall not be punished. If the theft be certainly found in his hand alive, whether it be an ox or an ass or a sheep, he shall restore double the fund. If a man shall cause a field or vineyard to be eaten, and shall put in his beast, and shall feed in another man's field, it's okay, you can go to another man's field, of the best of his own field and the best of his own vineyard shall he make restitution. If a fire break out and catch in thorns, so that the stakes of corn or the standing corn or the field be consumed therewith, he that kindled the fire surely make restitution. If a man deliver unto his neighbor money or stuff to keep, and it be stolen out of the man's house, if the thief be found, let him pay double. If the thief be not found, then the master of the house shall be brought unto the judges to see whether he have put his hand onto his neighbor's goods. And I just noticed, because I haven't been making funny names in a while, man, we really are. If you've just joined us, we've been Skeptic Bible studying Lawbringer. And we haven't been naming people at all.
No,
this
no
has
names.
just we are in full-on exposition mode. Like, this is just laws and rules, baby.
Well, I mean, you're a god. You've been around for eternity. Well, I guess that's how you spend your time, making up rules for your creation to follow.
It all makes sense if you just don't think too hard about it. Or, like I said, it's one or the other. Don't think, or it's just his ways are too mysterious, too beyond us.
We'll understand it when we get to heaven. Then he'll explain it to us.
Uh-oh, the freak is on. Sup, everyone in chat, sending love out to all of you out there on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch, as well as our lovely mods who keep everything awesome.
Oz, the man with the purple beard. Praise God.
Praise the Jeebus. And if you want your comment or question specifically read on screen, as I just wave a knife around. I really shouldn't be waving a knife around because this is the kind of thing that...
It's okay because you're reading the Bible.
Sorry, I'll pray about it. If you'd like your comment or question read on screen, don't forget to tag me at Amy Newman. And all right. Woohoo! And did I say nice to Doorknob Head? I think I said Doorknob Head. Yes. Okay. Hi to everybody. Hi, everybody.
If not, we love you, Doorknob.
Exactly. I have the attention span of a gnat. And what were we talking about? No. Okay.
The Bible.
The Bible. Where were we? This is dense and so exciting that I love
11 or no, 10.
10 Master's House for a manor. No. We didn't get the. Did we get the trespassing? No. I know we said ass. I don't think we said trespassing. For if the thief to be not found, then the master of the house.
No, you're right, 9.
Judges to see whether he have put his hand onto his neighbor's goods. I was hoping he was going to say neighbor's ass, but okay, fine.
That'll be next.
For all manner of trespass, whether it be for an ox, whether it be that ass, for sheep, for remnant, for any manner of lost thing which another challengeth to be his, the cost of both parties shall come before the judges, and whom the judges shall condemn, he shall pay double on
before the judges. Really?
Okay. Before the judges.
All right. Be a little awkward, but
it's okay. They don't have blacklight back then. If a man deliver unto his neighbor an ass, or an ox, or a sheep, or any beast to keep, and it die to be hurt or driven away, no man seeing it. What is with this English? I want to read that again, even though it's not exciting. If a man deliver unto his neighbor that ass, or an ox, or a sheep, or a beast,
if a Mandalorian,
and it die, or be hurt, or driven away, no man seeing it. I didn't even add the slang. It says no man seeing it. It makes me say the slang. Then shall an oath of the Lord Bob be between them both, that he hath not put his hand unto his neighbor's goods, and the owner of it
or his ass,
that ass, shall accept thereof, and he shall not make it good. Don't make it good, baby. And if it be stolen from him, he shall make restitution unto the owner thereof. If it be torn in pieces, then him, as I squeak, then him let him bring it for a witness, and he shall not make good that which was torn. And if a man borrow aught of his neighbor, and it be hurt or die, the owner thereof being not with it, he shall surely make it good. And if the owner thereof be with it, he shall not make it good. Okay. If it an hired thing, it came for his hire. Okay, please, annotations before I have a stroke. If a thief is caught breaking in and is killed, the person who kills him shall not be punished if it happened at night. What happens during the day? But if, oh, here we go. Thank you. Okay, but if it happened in the daytime, the person who killed the thief shall be killed. Really?
How does that make sense?
But why? I know I'm screaming at a book, but if a thief is caught and is too poor, I'm eventually going to be that old lady screaming at a TV. If a thief is caught and is too poor to make a complete restitution, then he is to be sold to pay for his. I thought it was going to go the complete opposite direction. Okay. As it was written.
It's just too much wisdom for us.
Too much wisdom.
Yeah, we can't comprehend it.
If you were omniscient, and once again, I don't think omnipotent is even in the Bible. Once again, I think it's a politically correct term, like supernatural. If you feel I'm wrong, we're gonna feel free to tell us in chat or at our open mic portion. But I don't know.
She could be wrong. She's been up for a long time. You know,
I've been wrong. On live streams. I've had to correct myself. So feel free to come on. Not that kind of come on, but come on. You know what I mean. Okay. And if a man entice a maid, oh, finally, we're getting to something. Hopefully this will be sexy. Here we go. That it is not betrothed and lie with her, he shall surely endow her to be his wife. If her father utterly refuse to give her on to him, he shall pay money according to the dowry of virgins. If you entice an unmarried woman to have sex with you, then you must marry her, unless the father refuses to give her to you, in which case you must pay him the going price for virgins. I love that sentence.
What's the going price for a virgin?
Yeah.
Amy? I guess we'll have to ask God.
Guess we're going to have to go ask God. I don't know. It's a hot commodity these days.
I think Mohammed cornered the market on that one, though. So I think we're, yeah.
I can't help it. I get excited every time I see a quote that's like actually quoted by a theist or a Christian. Thou shalt not suffer a witch to live. I feel like that sentence won't harm anybody. I feel
just
like
in the middle of everything. Wow. Like,
look at that.
We go from virgin to the witch. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that is really weird. We are going from oxes to thieves to witches. That got supernatural real fast.
You might get the impression that this was different authors over different time periods going back and revising these, but as opposed to just Moses writing it all down. But yeah.
And can I just say, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 words. 8 words. 8 words in a book have sentenced people to death.
Many over the century, many thousands of people, I imagine, died because of those 8 words.
8 words. That's just crazy to me. Just a single sentence.
I mean, I'm sure most of our viewers are familiar with the Salem witch trials, but it's just crazy stuff just to read like the courtroom accounts of it, because it's still not long enough that you can't understand what they're saying. It's just very surreal when you think about that was just a few hundred years ago.
Says a fair and just God. What an oxymoron. Yeah, I mean, he doesn't seem. I'm not finding those two qualities. Like we've said in the past few episodes, every once in a while, there's something good. But man, is there just a whole bunch of sandwich of crap. I mean, I hate to. If anyone's eating, I'm so sorry, but
it's what it is.
Yeah.
Just imagine like going down to like the police station and saying that you saw your wife in the late at night go down to the garden and meet with the devil, and then the devil transformed her into a bird and they flew away, and then she came back, and the police would be like, oh, okay, makes sense, we're gonna go interrogate her, and then we'll probably force her to confess to it, and then we're gonna hang her. Nice.
Yeah. And how would you be able to prove you're not a witch? I mean, it's one of those where it's like it's a poisoning of the well and a loaded question, accusation, all at the same time. Because
yeah.
But I'm not. Well, I mean, our crops died, and you're a bitch. So, I mean, we kind of put 2 and 2 together.
We have 3 witnesses who saw you have sex with the devil, and then the devil turned you into a bird. Like, what the hell? No. Yes.
And it's funny how all these witches seem to have disappeared. I know there actually are theists who will claim witches still exist, but let's just say I'm skeptical.
We don't see any evidence of it, and we haven't executed any of them in several hundred years, but we don't seem to be having a problem with it.
And it makes me sad to think we even have. And all right, let's move right along. Whosoever lieth with a beast shall surely be put to death. Wow, that's kind of funny. Just sandwiched in all this random stuff. Okay,
from witchcraft to bestiality.
To bestiality. Kill anyone who has sex with an animal. This is a Louis C.K. joke, where I think he was trying to explain either from the vegan perspective or from the animal's perspective. Like, if you could put the animal in front of you and you're like, and he can understand you, he or she, and he's like, look, buddy, I could eat you or I could fuck you. The cow would be bending over. There's actually one that's clearly seems to be more moral. But that's go look up Louis C.K. He does it better, but it's very funny. All right. Kill anyone who has sex with an animal. Yep. Okay. He that have sacrificed unto any god. You mean there are other gods than you? Is that what you're trying to tell us? Save unto the Lord only, he shall be utterly destroyed. And no, it's actually very specifically just saying kill anyone who believes in a different god. Wait. He that sacrificed unto any god saveth unto the Lord Bob only, he shall be utterly destroyed. It is saying that? It's saying kill, because the Jews and the Christians sometimes harp on the Muslims because they're like, oh, kill the infidels, blah, 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 blah. Well, isn't that what this is saying? Is that not what this passage is saying?
I mean, I would think it would only apply to someone who is like part of them, but
I don't know. I haven't read the Quran, so I can't say that.
I think it would like apply only to like a fellow Jew if they're worshiping another god. I wouldn't interpret that to mean just go kill everybody everywhere who doesn't worship their god, but
He that sacrifice
Yeah.
unto any god save unto the Lord Bob, he shall be utterly destroyed. I don't know if that's saying destroy them or they will be destroyed. I don't know. Doesn't seem friendly. Let's just say that.
seems a bit harsh, yeah.
Seems a bit harsh. Thou shalt neither vex a stranger nor oppress him. For ye were strangers in the land of Egypt. I mean, it's like it's almost saying something almost half good after you said two things that were horrible. It's like, I know I killed Grandma. I know I burned the orphanage, but what if I bought you dinner? Huh? Huh? Come on. Why are you acting like such a sourpuss and buying you dinner?
Yeah, some people are just never satisfied with anything.
I know.
You can't make some people happy.
Can't make everyone happy, James. All right. Vexing. I'm getting vexing. Ye shall not afflict any widow or fatherless child. If thou shalt afflict them in any wise, not any way, any wise, and they cry at all unto me, I will surely hear their cry. Be kind to
Okay.
strangers, widows, and fatherless children. Fine, I'll take it. Is this? Oh yeah, there we go.
I guess
We
that is
found
the
it.
good, yeah.
There we go. I was like, is it gonna stick out like a sore thumb? Yes, it is. There we go.
Although the remedy is fake, it's like yeah, they'll cry out to me and then I'll take care of it. Yeah.
But hey, I mean, I guess
Yeah,
I'll
it's still it's the best we're gonna get.
Guess we're gonna get. Be my wrath shall wax hot, kinky, and I will kill you, not so kinky, with the sword. And your wives shall be widows, and your children fatherless. Wow. Wow. If that, it just like 180 in the next sentence. If thou lend money to any of my people that is poor by thee, thou shalt not be to him as a usurer, neither shalt thou lay upon him usury. If thou take thy neighbor's rampant to pledge, thou shalt deliver it unto them by the sun goeth down. For that is considering only it is his remnant for his skin, wherein shall he sleep, and it shall come to pass, when he, but hopefully quickly, when he crieth unto me, when doves, that I will hear, for I am gracious. Yeah, I'm sure you are. Or
Absolutely.
God will heed their cry, or kill you with a sword, and make you your wives, and make your wives widows, and your children fatherless. What the hell is the combination of these two paragraphs? What the hell is the combination of these two?
Come on, Bible.
Well,
Come on, Bible. Come on, God. Get it together now.
It was once again. This is basically like, be kind to strangers after you trip them. It's like, what? I was with you, but okay, whatever.
You imagine God sitting on like the psychiatrist's couch and he's just rambling this shit out on and on. You know, psychiatrist looking at his watch, like, how much longer do I have to sit through this? Okay, and if he gore a man, and yeah.
And then you needed to show your glory, and you hardened his heart another time?
Well, yeah. I wasn't done killing people. I really wanted to kill people, and he was going to let them go.
And how does that make you feel?
Like a frog. The frogs. Remember? I sent millions of frogs, and then the locusts. I mean,
It's all making sense.
I was thinking about raining down alligators, but I decided to rain down hail, but make it fiery hail, burning hail.
Fiery hail.
Like sharks with laser beams attached to their heads.
Like fucking sharks for laser beams. Thou shalt not revel the gods, nor curse the ruler of thy people. Thou shalt not delay to offer the first of thy ripe fruits and of thy liquors, the firstborn of thy sons, which thou shalt give unto me.
Yes, give me your
Likewise,
liquors.
oh, give me your liquors, baby. Likewise, shalt thou do with thine oxen what thy sheep run on sense. You gonna finish that? 7 days it shall be with his dam. On the 8th day, thou shalt give it to me, baby. Uh-huh, uh-huh.
Uh-huh. Pretty
Don't
fly for a triomni god.
exactly. Don't revel the gods or curse rulers, even if the ruler is a tyrant. The annotations answer. Give your
No,
firstborn.
don't curse your rulers. We're tremendous.
Well, it's just like you should be nice to your parents unless you have bad parents, in which case it's a toxic relationship and you need a new
Yeah.
family. But generally speaking, you should. I mean, the context that I would say the Christians want isn't in the Bible. We need to edit that out and put that
Yeah.
in. Give your firstborn sons to God. What? Whoa. Some of the stuff I just read and it goes over my head. Thou shalt not delay to offer the first of thy ripe fruits. I thought it was talking about fruit. And of thy liquors, I got so excited. The firstborn of thy sons shalt thou give unto me. Give your firstborn sons to God.
Yeah.
I guess
Sometimes
doesn't say how, but yeah.
sometimes the Bible just says something that's just so whack and so crazy that even the Christians, it's just like they gloss over it because it's just so, yeah.
Yeah. Some things I don't know how you would defend. I'm sure they would, but hey, who knows? And you can soon as we're moving along. We'll come to our open mic portion of the section soon. And ye shall be holy men unto me, neither shall ye die. Any flesh that is torn of the beasts in the field, ye shall cast it to these dogs. Be holy, and don't eat flesh that has been killed by another animal. Feed it to the dogs. Okie dokie.
Yeah, don't be a scavenger.
Don't be a scavenger. And all right, we have just finished reading the book of Exodus, chapter 22. So what do you think? More laws?
Yeah, we just don't have enough rules on like oxes and slavery and yeah.
Whew, excitement.
I just wish we could have more rules, more laws.
Rules. That's what I thought was missing in my life, was more rules and laws.
It looks like we're about to get some more though.
Yes, but hey, once again,
they're not all bad, I guess.
We're not straw man in the Bible. We're just reading it as our, I guess, 4 eyes, but as our 2 eyes see in front of us. But with that being said, there may be some more good stuff in the Bible. Woohoo!
Take it with a grain of salt.
Excited. But hey, let's find out. I'm excited. Who knows?
Or what's the cross again? Politics, right?
Politics.
And contradictions.
There would never be contradictions in the Bible. Because I'm pretty sure at one point this book says don't go into politics, but then this book, all they talk about is the 1% and the politics. All right. Good rules. Oh, it's even entitled Good Rules. Look at that. Look at that. Maybe that's this rule. Maybe that's, I don't know. Who knows? Thou shalt not raise a false report. Put not thine hand with the wicked to be an unrighteous witness.
Oh, okay.
Okay. God continues his monologue to Moses. Oh yeah, that's the other funny thing, is that Moses is supposedly just jotting this shit down while God is just like Why didn't God just work like boom and just like make the whole book? I don't know why it had
Too much work.
Oh. All right. Thou shalt not follow a multitude to do evil. Neither shall thou speak in a cause to decline after many to wrest judgment. Hot. God continues his monologue, okay, from the thick darkness. Don't make false report. All right. Don't do what everyone else does if what they do is wrong. Okay, that sounds like good advice. Neither shalt thou countenance a poor man, countenance a poor man in his cause. If thou meet thine enemy's ox or dad ass going astray, thou shalt surely bring it back to him again.
Of course.
Thou see that ass of him that haveth thee lying under his burden, and wouldest forbear to help him, thou shalt surely help with him. Thou shalt not wrest the judgment of thy poor in his cause. Be kind to your enemies and treat the poor fairly, which is so funny. I'm just getting mixed signals. Like, I'm liking this. Okay, I'm in. But, like, that wasn't what you were saying in the last chapter.
Yeah, it's almost like it's a different author now, and he's like, ooh, that was really bad. We need to kind of insert a few things that don't sound as bad.
About that, we're gonna do a paper. Okay. Okay. Don't keep thee far from a false matter, and the innocent and the righteous. Slay thou not, for I will not justify the wicked, except those witches. And thou shalt take no gift, for the gift blindeth the wise, and perverteth the words of the righteous. And don't lie or kill innocent people. And thou shalt not oppress a stranger, for ye know the heart of a stranger, seeing ye were strangers in the land of New York. And 6 years, he likes the 6 days, 6 years. I'm starting to notice a pattern. And 6 years thou shalt sow thy land, and shalt gather in the fruits thereof. Don't oppress strangers. Okie dokie. But the 7th year thou shalt let it rest. Again, 6 days, rest of that. And lie still, that the poor of thy people may eat, but not leaven bread. Don't you fricking make that. If I see that bread rising, I will come down there myself.
What? We got yeast? Somebody's got yeast. No.
Where's my... Let's use my sword.
Do you mind if we do we have permission to search your card here?
Excuse me, sir. I'm gonna have to check that bread for you. Oh, there we go. I'm gonna have to peek around with that bread.
I've got a presumptive positive test for leaven.
We're gonna have to call in 212 here. We got 212 and 11 bread. We get to call it in. Sorry, I hate to do it. You were such a nice looking fellow with a good upbringing, but leaven bread, I mean, it hits a family so hard.
So yeah, we're just gonna have to execute you right now.
Just gonna have to kill you. All right. We shouldn't be shitting on it. We're going through. The Bible's telling us some good stuff. All right. Back to the good stuff. Don't lie or kill innocent people.
Don't kick puppies.
Don't oppress strangers. Don't kick puppies. I do believe I could have figured out some of this stuff on my own or by my parents or, but whatever, I'll take it. And 6 years thou shalt sow thy land and shalt gather in the fruits thereof. But the 7th thou shalt let it rest and lie still, that the poor of thy people may eat, and what they leave the beast of the field shall eat. In like manner thou shalt deal with thy vineyard and thy olive yard. Oh, we're going to Olive Garden. This is great. Every 7th year, leave your field unharvested so that the poor will have something to eat. So can we just cut out this section and we'll just call it the Bible, that one section. And there you go. And we'll add donut slaves at the end. It'll be great.
That almost sounds like it's like a public welfare program.
Exactly.
It's like food stamps, but for 900 BC.
For 900 BC. And yeah, and there we go. I mean, there is good stuff. Once again, I feel like the happy party is about to end, but it was good while it lasted. All right, moving right along. Rules about Sabbaths, gods, feasts, and sacrifice.
Okay, back to the important stuff.
Back to very important stuff. We're starting off. You gotta be intolerant about it. I mean, we gotta have our tribe and their tribe. I mean, come on.
We're better than them.
I know. And I've always hated their tribe. And the funny thing about our tribe, I've always been right.
Yeah.
Right.
We're us and they're them. We're right, they're wrong.
That's how it works. The reds, the blues, black, white. That's how things work. You can't think in gradients. I don't like no gradients, okay?
Miami has the Dolphins, the greatest football team.
I still do. I just appreciate the Dolphins logo colors and just like the way of the look at it. I'm still Eagles all the way.
The teal and the orange, yeah.
Yeah, I'm a fan of teal. All right. But not only is it unjust, but the Bible would never would the Bible contradict? Oh, the Bible wouldn't contradict itself. Never. Come on, guys.
Look, that's so absurd that you would think it would contradict that. Yeah, we have to follow that right up with some absurdity.
Exactly. Just got to laugh about it. And all right, let's find the wisdom. Rules about Sabbaths, gods, feasts, and sacrifice.
And porcupines.
Fantastic. And porcupines. Fantastic. Amara says, Eagles, or we go full Delaware. Can't help it. I got Philly in my veins. All right. 6 days.
Delaware doesn't have any teams, so yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and I'm from Philly, so even then, I would. My parents has always been PA, or at least they were.
Go eat a cheesesteak.
Randolph, I learned this from my friend Bob Larson. We no longer give. Do you think this is going to cross out a demon? What is this going to do? Nothing.
But if you're at the commander level,
you got to get that emoji. This is what casts out demon. We saw that. I can't believe it, but we saw with our own eyes the other night 3 demons be cast.
4, actually. We had Moloch, who was the manager of the UFO demons. We had Lilith. We had Lucifer. We had Jezebel.
We had them all. Yeah, and they all had different voices, which was amazing.
They were all her voice, right?
Yeah.
And then they wanted to pick her up and throw her around the room.
She had what I thought was going to be her coming out of it moment, like her snap moment. And her snap moment the first time was actually her switching to another demon. So, like, she did that a few times to, like, the one demon got cast out. And it was like, oh, no, Lilith is hiding here in the corner. She was drinking a Slurpee the whole time. It's like, okay, got to get the rule of 3. You can't just be one demon. That'd be boring.
And her husband was sitting next to her watching the college basketball game on TV.
That was the funniest thing. Once again, if you didn't see that episode, Bob Larson did a online Zoom exorcism with the wife, and just like at the last, like she's doing all this crazy. Satan worships through me, and all this fun stuff. She was trying to get her her Emmy, and
UFO demons and
UFO demons. And
They were-
at the very last minute, like the last 30 seconds, they just pull the camera out. And her husband's sitting right there, just like, man, that was crazy. Woohoo!
praise God.
I was checking my sports stats, but that shit was crazy. And
What's for dinner? Are we gonna cook or are we gonna head to Chinese food? What are you thinking?
Gonna get that Chinese food.
What does Moloch feel like? What does Moloch want for dinner?
What does Moloch? We got to do cooking with Yahweh.
Oh, but Jezebel, she feels like Taco Bell. But Lilith really just wants to have a quiet night at home, you know. She just wants to make like some leftovers.
You gotta have some leftovers. It's like turkey. And okay, I see Oz's comment. I think he's asking, are we going through all 33 verses? I believe we are of this section. We're moving right along. Do you have something specific to say on it? And then we might be going into open mic.
Yeah, we should probably.
Coming up on hour 2, so maybe we'll switch it into that open mic. So
These were long chapters.
These were long chapters, but they were fun. We've been having so much fun selling our daughter into slavery, making pits, and even some good stuff.
Goring animals, killing witches. Yeah. Putting your hands on your neighbor's ass, of course.
Exactly, as you do. You got to tap that ass. And okay, I'll send the link into chat soon at the last section. But let's move along and finish up our chapters of the night of our Skeptic Bible study. Lawbringer. Dun, dun, dun. And so rules about, what number were we on? Rules about Sabbaths, God's feasts, and sacrifice? Have we...
You were, are we on 16?
Are we on 16? And the Feast of the Harvest. The first fruits. Oh, no. Oh, James, I almost had to pull you over. I see what you did there. You tried to miss that paragraph purposely, didn't you? You've been eating unleavened bread, haven't you? On the side.
Oh, just a little bit.
Just a little.
It was for Easter.
And okay, and I don't think I think we even started this chapter. 6 days thou shalt not do thy work, and on the 7th day thou shalt rest. I'm pretty sure you told us that in chapter 1, but thanks. That thine ox and thy dad ass may also rest. Wow. Do you notice what they're about to do? They're about to put the animals, I would say other animals, but in their eyes, the animals before. I'll just let the Bible speak for itself. 6 days thou shalt do thy work, and on the 7th day thou shalt rest. That thine ox and dad ass may also rest, and the son of thy handmaid and the stranger may be refreshed. Okay, It didn't end as hard as badly as I thought. I was gonna freak out for a second.
You thought they were going to exempt somebody?
It just seemed like they were making a list, and it seemed like they were putting the slaves at the end, but they were just including everyone should be refreshed. So it was like an emotional roller coaster. So the Bible does that with me a lot. Okay. And in all things that have said unto you, be circumspect, and make no mention of thy name of other gods, and neither let it be heard out of thy mouth. 3 times thou shalt keep a feast unto me in the year, that thou shalt keep the feast of unleavened bread. Thou shalt eat unleavened bread 7 days as I commanded thee. In the time appointed of the month Abib, isn't that the singer? For it in thou camest out from New York, and none shall appear before me empty. And the feast of the harvest, the first fruits, I keep on. Oh, James got summoned by Satan. But my brain keeps on saying fist in my head, so I keep on wanting to say fist fruits, which I hope are not a real thing. But actually, hey, anything's a dildo if you're brave enough. I'm going to change that just because that makes me laugh. Okay, and the feast of the harvest, the fist fruits of thy labors, which thou hast sown in the field, and the feast of the ingathering, which is in the end of the year, when thou hast gathered in thy labors out of the field. 3 items in the year of all the males shall appear. Oh, by us, sending hearts.
Good night,
to
Oz.
at the atheist round table. And don't forget, I almost look, I was about to throw the skull. And don't forget to go check out tart.live for more awesome content and to support your local atheist community and to normalize
Make it your
atheism,
homepage.
along with Randolph and everyone else in there. Marinated ox with a side of ass for dinner.
Cooking with God.
Cooking with God, baby. Just no unleavened bread. None of that shit.
And don't forget to stone your ox.
Exactly. Stone those ox. So we can split the ox, but we can't eat the ox. What are we going to do with an ox we can't eat? Half of a dead ox. What the hell are we supposed to do with half a dead ox?
I don't know. Feed it to the dog?
I guess. All thy mouths shall appear before thy Lord, Bob. Thou shalt not offer the blood of my sacrifice with leavened bread, neither shall the fat of my sacrifice remain until morning.
You hear that? God wants all the males 3 times a year. Come before
Oh
him.
my.
Yeah.
Who doesn't? More rules and promises. Behold, I send an angel before thee to keep thee in the way and to bring thee into the place which I have prepared. Oh, wait, we forgot what's on the menu. More rules and promises. Ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be a fun chapter. We've been having fun. But it's not just any type of fun. It's intolerant fun.
Hey, the best kind.
It's tribalistic fun, which of course doesn't sound very lawful, if you ask me. Oh, but that's okay. The creation science, we got it. We can fit it in here now. Here we go.
You gotta make science fit the Bible, not the Bible fit science. You're
That's
doing
right.
it backwards. Science needs to conform to the Bible.
And we finish it off, of course, with some violence.
Unscientific violence.
Unscientific violence. The best kind. Behold, I send an angel before thee to keep thee in the way and to bring thee into place which I have prepared. Beware of him and obey his voice. Provoke him not, for he will not pardon your transgressions, for my name is in him. Oh my. But if thou shalt indeed obey his voice and do all that I speak, then I will be an enemy unto thy enemies, and an adversary unto thine adversaries. For my angel shall go before thee and bring thee into the Amorites, and the Hittites, and the Pretzels, and the Canaanites, and Hivites.
Amaretto.
I know. Hi, Amaretto. And Gibbets, and I will cut them off. Thou shalt not bow. Oh, I will send an angel to help my people. If they obey me, I will be an enemy to their enemies, cutting them all off. Night Organic Jerk.
There has been some dry verses in here, yeah.
And it's been dry, but I think this is the last chapter of rules, and so it's on theme. We're gonna climb Mount Rule Everest tonight, and we're getting through it. We're about halfway done this chapter, so we're almost done, and then we'll switch it over to about an hour of open mic. And if anyone has any ideas on their mind of anything they just read, come on and tell us.
Open flies.
Right. Open flies. For mine angel shall go before thee. Oh, I said that. Thou shalt not bow down to their gods, nor serve them, nor do after their works, but thou shalt utterly overthrow them and quite break down their images. And I'd just like to say, I want to send a thank you and a heart to all of you that have been listening. We're a late night. It's late night funsies with a little bit of curse language and a little bit of gore and all sorts of fun. But we appreciate you staying up late night with us and having a fun. And we just want to send all those hearts out to you.
You guys could be sleeping, but you're listening to the Bible.
Having fun with the Bible. And I'm learning so much, which is, I'm glad that we are going through this cover to cover. And hopefully we can make what would be an otherwise, like breaking a 3-day-old pretzel in half. Hopefully we can microwave that pretzel a little bit and make it a little bit softer.
But not a 11 pretzel.
Not 11 pretzel. No 11 pretzel. Or I'll get smotened. And okay. I want to read this because this is it's always so weird that he's taking, like, dude, get over it. If they have other gods, just go in front of them and prove that you're the actual God. Why does that to get so under his skin?
No, I don't like other gods. Makes me so mad.
And see, that's a good thing. I'll be honest with you. I do. For better or for worse, I feel like my counter apologetics have gotten better. More information is I've been
because there's so many things before that you heard them say, but you didn't really have the full context of it.
And I think actually I'd be surprised to know how many Christians have really read it cover to cover. Like, I'm sure there's tons out there, but I'd be very interested, how many Jews read the full Torah. I mean, when I was in my little comedy shtick class, there was a woman with a hijab who, when I did a joke on like a miracle over the moon, I was just happy that I did a joke with that, a non-offensive joke about Islam. I made her laugh. or offensive. Who cares about the offense? It was funny. That's the only thing that matters. And
With a hijab.
afterward, with a hijab, and afterwards, she pulled me aside, and she didn't say she was offended. She said, "I didn't even know that was in there." And that was that's like the main miracle. That's like being a Christian and not knowing that that Jesus came back from the dead. Now, I get that the Muslims don't put the emphasis. Like, Christianity is all about the miracle, but that's Mo's big miracle. So yeah. So I'm learning
Yeah,
a
it's
lot.
not like Christians not knowing about the fig tree that Jesus conversated with, but it's not one of his most known miracles. But because the disciples heard the conversation he was having with the tree, don't forget about that, Amy.
And I'll say, I'm never going to forget the Passover story. Passover story just affected me on and it's written. Unless someone has if someone has a version out there of the Passover story where God doesn't come out looking like a dick, please show it to me, because I am trying to understand where the moral of any of that story was.
Keep looking. I don't think you're going to find it, but.
And okay, thou shalt not bow down to their gods, nor serve them, nor do after their works. But thou shalt utterly overthrow them and break down their images. And ye shall serve the Lord Bob, your odd, and he shall bless thy bread and thy water, and I will take sickness away from the midst of thee. Thou shalt nothing cast their young, nor be barren in thy land. The number of thy days I will fulfill. Don't bow down to other people's gods, and don't allow others to worship a different god. Conquer them and destroy their religious property. Holy moly. But thou shalt utterly overthrow them and quite break. Yeah, that's what that says. And ye shall serve I did say serve me, and you'll never get sick, be hungry, thirsty, or barren. Wow, really? That's a big promise right there. I don't know.
I'm sure he'll deliver.
I'm sure. And okay.
Yeah, he's going to take sickness away, right? Nobody will get sick, right?
No one will get sick. Yeah, and no one has get sick. No true Christian has gotten sick since then. And do you know what that means? You know what that means, James?
Sir.
I guess there's no true Christians. Because I think everyone's getting sick. I don't know. Maybe. Moving along. And I just noticed we're almost at the end of the chapter. And since we're almost at the end of the chapter, well, with that in mind, then I am going to send the link into chat, and we will finish this out.
All right. Release the Kraken. Open it up.
We'll finish it out, but I'm going to send the link in for anyone to join us. And so, what do you think about destroying people that aren't your God? What do you think, James?
It's par for the course. You can't say he's not consistent.
Indeed. And okay, I'm sending that in.
He doesn't contradict himself with that. He seems to always be on that page.
Yep, that he seems to do just fine. All right, there we go. And sending that into the chat.
Praise
And if
I am
you'd
that
like
I
to-
am.
If you'd still like to have your comments or thoughts read on screen, feel free to tag me at Amy Newman. We are Skeptic Bible Study Lawbringer, and we're just about to finish this episode's chapters. And all right, so, and ye shall serve the Lord your God, and he shall bless thy bread and thy water, and I will take sickness away from the midst of thee. I had to read that over. That is such a crazy sentence. It's not true. I mean, I hate to say it's not true, but it's not true.
It's not true.
I feel like I can make that claim. I feel like I can make that counterclaim at that point. There shall nothing cast their young, ne'er be bound. I read that. Okay. I will send my fear before thee, and I will destroy all the people to whom thou shalt come. Oh my. And I will make all thine enemies turn their backs unto thee. And I will send hornets before thee, which shall drive out the Hivites and the Canaanites and the Hittites from before thee. I will not drive them out from before thee in 1 year, lest the land become desolate and the beasts of the field multiply against thee. By little and little I will drive them out from before thee, until thou increase and inherit the land. And I will set thy pounds from the Red Sea, oh baby, onto the sea of the Philistines, and from the desert onto the river. For I will deliver the inhabitants of the land into your hand, and thou shalt drive them out before thee. Thou shalt make no covenant with them, nor with their gods. They shall not dwell in thy land. Lest they make thee sin against me. If thou serve their gods, it will surely be a snare unto thee. You will occupy all the land of the Red Sea to the Sea of the Philippines, and from the desert onto the river. Also, take heed, Christians, that doesn't say everywhere. Actually, I think the spreading of the good news comes in version 2. But right now, they just
2.0.
conquer the Philistines. Yeah. Stay away from those that believe differently than you. Wow. Of course. Do not make treaties with them or allow them to live in your land.
Mute them and send them into the back studio.
And okay, what do you think, James? We've just read the book of Exodus, chapter 33. We're about to go into open mic, but have you witnessed the wisdom? Has it spoke to you?
It's the funny thing is that it was always written on my heart before, and I already knew it, but the way God he penned it so beautifully that it's just I'm touched. It's an emotional thing.
Would you like me to find a doll? You can show me where.
Yes, yeah, my heart all over. Praise
Woo-hoo!
God.
Praise Jeebus. But we have wisdom
Praise the
to
Lord.
share. Are you ready? Are you ready to open up Hell's Gates?
Yahweh Sabaoth, God of the armies.
Savvy up. And all right, we have been Skeptic Bible studying
Oh boy.
Lawbringer, and it's time to open up the open mic. Woohoo! And okay, our first tonight.
Help us,
Randolph.
help us. Yes.
We have been Skeptic Bible studying on Lawbringer. How are you tonight? And what are your thoughts on what we just read?
Up late tonight, Randolph.
Doing great. I'm a little concerned. I'm seeing a yellow spot from my right eye, so I'm gonna have to call the ophthalmologist tomorrow. But hope everything's okay. It's a faint one, but anyway, I guess when it comes to the Lawbringer, I find that rather arrogant that they think that they're just authoritarians making the laws, and everybody has to follow them black and white. There's no exceptions aside from interpretations by those in the clergy and whatnot, because without the clergy and others who are promoting all of this stuff, it would have no power at all. It would just be another storybook. So the idea of punishing people for believing in other deities seems to me to be a major restriction on people's freedoms. It goes against personal intellectual sovereignty. And of course, I have lots of complaints like this about the Bible.
Woohoo! Yeah. I don't know why they talk about slaves so much. The ox was kind of amusing, but
The
they
pits.
seem random.
Gotta
all
love
over
the
place.
pits.
It's more authoritarian stuff going on, and so in order to get more people on their side, those with power, they have to give them reasons to say, "Hey, this book is good. We like it
A good
because
book."
it helps us do what we want to do, enslave others."
But Randolph, that was the Old Testament.
So be careful with those pits, Randolph. You go putting pits everywhere and stuff happens.
Well, I've actually come across a few Christians over the years who disagree about which parts are Old Testament and which parts are new.
Ooh,
So-
as in they think it's a little bit more switched up or a little bit more mixed?
Yeah, they're certain chapters they think are in the wrong places, and they fight about it. So it's not my fight. They can sort it out.
Should do a whole podcast on that, Amaretto.
Let God sort it out.
Let God. I forget what the quote is. I don't know if that's from the Bible. Is that?
Yeah, kill them all and let God sort them out. That's what they say.
Is
Yeah.
that really from the
They
Bible?
say kill them with.
That's not from the Bible.
I think they say kill them
Okay.
with death. They say kill them with death.
Oh.
Eh?
Dude, I don't know anymore. I'm like, it's so interesting. Like every time like something like a famous quote, like the witch's quote pops out, I'm like, woo, because it's like, oh, everyone knows that one. We all fight over that. We make whole debate concepts over that. But I mean, I the goat and the pit making, I don't think is often quoted.
Or the bestiality.
Or the bestiality.
I do find the phrase "kill them with death" rather peculiar, though, because there are probably many other things that would be easier to use as a tool to kill people with rather than death itself. Which
That
is
reminds me.
tangible.
That reminds me of a recent Thor quote where he's trying to get his new axe, and the person wielding it, is Tyron.
Hammer
Peter
or
Dinklage.
axe?
Peter Dinklage. It's an axe because he's and he's like, it may kill you, and he's like, oh, only if I die. And it's like, yes, that is what kill you means.
It depends on what the meaning of the word is.
Well, the logic seems to check out.
And okay, we'll go back into open conversation. But Bird, we have been skeptic Bible studying on, where's my thing? The Lawbringer.
Nice Minecraft.
As I go, thank you. Boom, boom. How are you? And what are your thoughts on everything the amazing wisdom we just had?
Yeah, it's quite amazing. That'd be a great word to use. I was pretty familiar with a lot of these passages, but just the more and more I read, it's so dumb.
Yeah.
It's just dumb.
That's an understatement.
I mean, that's all bad I gotta say. It's just so ridiculous.
No, I
Even
feel
for the
exact same way.
context of the time period,
Yes.
it just seems ridiculous.
And redundant. in a
As
lot
I've
of
said before, I do wonder if the authors were on mushrooms.
be a plausible explanation at
Would
least.
explain a lot of things.
Yeah.
Even for people in the day, I imagine if they came across something like this, they would just like shake their head and say, "This is gibberish and crazy."
Unless they had mushrooms too.
Well, there you go. Then it might make sense. Then they would see the burning bush too.
Are you just saying everyone was having a good time? Is that what you're trying to say?
Having a good time.
Maybe the burning bush.
Dive into a volcano.
Well,
maybe the burning bush was a burning mushroom. Who knows?
the joke is generally, if he's burning a bush, that generally means he was probably burning a bush somewhere. If the bush is talking to you, that probably means you were smoking a little bush beforehand.
Yeah, that's probably it. Lost in translation.
I don't know.
Well, that's why they call it the high priest.
Oh, did I not read? Uh-oh. That's okay. I didn't read your previous comment out loud. I'm going to find it, and then I'm going to read it out loud.
She will search for it until she finds it.
Oh, Will's wondering where the knockout champ is. Something to do with Thor. Okay.
I may or may not have a Thor's hammer coming to add to my prop collection.
May or may not.
Wow, that's going to be a heavy burden for you.
Hello.
I know. I may. Hey, Randolph making joke. I may not even be able to lift it. It may be stuck to the floor, and I may not even be able to get up.
Just
That's
have the
okay.
handle sticking up. That's going to
Just
be
have a
hilarious.
handle.
You're going to keep it like that for months before you finally lift it up and say, I was just kidding. You should totally do that.
Oh, here we go. See? I'm so sorry. Answer, I missed with. Though I will say, I could criticize, I could make fun, but that's more wisdom than everything we've been reading tonight. So,
I mean, that might be a good idea. You could make like Bible verses to like read on the toilet. That way, like little tracts that they give out.
Every time I go in Walgreens or something, they have they sell it's a machine that spits out Bible verse quotes, like a handy Bible verse quoter. It's like, whew.
Are you talking about the Joel Osteen cube?
Maybe. First of all, that was a fantastic sentence.
Oh,
Joel Osteen cube.
It's a real thing. Joel Osteen positive affirmation cube, and it's the most retarded shit you've ever heard in your life.
I don't know. I wasn't specialist.
No.
You should hear me talk sometime.
What is it? How to get people to buy money for a stupid cube?
Yes.
And actually, though, I will say we're in the wrong business. That's where it is. I guarantee
for
you.
Sure. Yeah.
That guy probably has a cube and buy my DVD. And
years ago, I was at a party and it was really cool. My youngest was about 3 years old and brought her as well, my wife and I, and they had drinks that had ice cubes in them, but they weren't real ice cubes. They were just plastic and they were lit up different colors. So people had. It was really neat because it's the dark lighting was down. Everyone's going around with these drinks that have these ice cubes in them that each have lights in them.
You put them in the freezer and then they it's like reusable, right?
Yeah. And the host gave some clean ones to our daughter to play with. She had 3 different colors. She was really happy. It was really quite a neat experience.
Oh, how old is your daughter? I didn't even know you had a daughter.
Oh, at that time she was 3, so much older now. So I have 2.
I guess she's not. The joke
2 kids.
I think my mom made this joke, but it's you can't put them back now. They're too big.
Well,
Yeah.
at least she's not alive back in the Bible where she could have got sold, which
I know. So I'd
selling your daughter.
Our kids are quite sensible. They're doing very well. We're quite happy with the way they're turning out. It's good.
So you have no desire to sell them into slavery?
No, absolutely not.
Oh
No. This is.
I know. What's so funny is I said it to an actual parent, and I heard the weight of that joke. But it's like it's real. It says sell your daughter into slavery.
$500, Randolph. $500.
No. No. We've taught them to think for themselves, to be skeptical, to make their own decisions about what they find interesting and all this, and it worked out quite well, giving them all this freedom and trying to help them to go along with all this. It's
also
good.
Will in the house. Sup, Will?
Hello, Will.
Well, I mean, that's one option. Of course, the other option is you bring them to a place every week where they get told they have to believe this or they're going to burn in hell forever. So, I mean, that's another option.
Yeah, that I don't like that option.
You mean that's
Me
not
either.
feasible?
What were you gonna say, Bird?
I said that's not a feasible option for you. You sinner.
Oh, feasible, yeah, but not an option I'm willing to take.
I know. So crazy.
But he only burns people forever because he loves them so much.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, that's very creepy, actually. That's like
Yeah, it's like like the boyfriend telling the girlfriend, "Hey, it's only because I love you. That's why I get so mad and I knock you out."
That's right.
it's manipulative.
It's a toxic relationship. It's one of those.
It's not a relationship.
No.
Well,
It's toxic, though. Oh yeah.
can I? That's another thing that must be either in the New Testament or I don't know where it comes from. Where's the words personal relationship? Let me tell you something that I'm craning a bit on is political correctness seems to come in like 2-word combinations. Every once in a while, it does like 3-word combinations or 1 word, but supernatural, like what are these words? Personal relationship. Like I know what a personal relationship
Free will.
is. It's called Meet Me at Dairy Queen, and we can try it out. What are you talking about?
3 words.
A personal
Okay, yeah.
relationship. Oh well.
Free will.
Free will. Yeah, that's another one. Free will.
The telemarketer called me the other day, and then about Canadian atheists. So anyway, after jerking them around a little bit, they asked if they could call back from their personal line. I said, "Oh, okay."
Joke in there. I'm just gonna leave it there.
And then we had a
Leave
chat
it
about
there.
Islam. Wow. Yeah, they're.
I'm sorry, Randolph. It's my brain. It's the words and the English. And what were you saying? No, continue.
Yeah. So anyway, I got they talked about life after death, and I said, well, that's not really the proper word then, because death has finality as its core characteristic. So you need to have a different word than death for that.
And that's one of the reasons why I dislike the religions with heaven, because I think that
You're selling somebody a false hope.
Now I can hear Will in the back of my head saying this isn't the same in Calvinism, but generally speaking, he's sending people to hell for non-belief, and it's like, but the moment
glory.
But the moment you do believe,
Too late.
Well, as long as you do it before you die, I'm told.
Right, yeah.
Well, in Calvinism, it doesn't matter because
That's true.
you're either chosen or not.
Yeah. And so God then has to actually choose to do something. If they don't choose to do something, then you're going to hell. So their laziness is your liability.
For his glory, though. That's why he does it all.
Raise the roof for Jesus.
Yes.
Glory that's holy. Okay.
Holy, holy, holy is the Lord of hosts. The whole earth is full of his glory. Just the earth, the whole rest of the universe, which earth is an infinitesimally small part of the universe. They didn't mention that in the Psalms. I don't know why.
I didn't even mention the cosmos, did they?
Maybe they thought that that everything was in Earth and the stars were in the dome and all that. Just saying.
that ice dome. Can't let the water fall out.
Maybe.
That's right.
And then we got the family values. If a child curses their mother or father, of course you execute them.
Yeah. Murder
As
them.
you do.
The Freak is commenting in the chat that death is separation from God. That's interesting.
So I was just going to say the Old Testament is an allegory, but plus a lot of oxygen. There you go.
Hello.
Oh, that's clever.
Right. So yeah, that's what they try to say when Adam and Eve sinned, because God said they would die. But they didn't die, but they really did, just in a metaphorical sense.
It all makes sense now.
Clear as mud.
So yeah, if you've just
They
joined
died
us, we have been
spiritually.
Skeptic Bible study on my sword. Lawbringer.
I think you
Where
need
we
more
have been
props,
going
Amy.
over rules. I know. I just need. I only have a few, right?
You got lots, actually. I'm just being silly here.
I can't help it. I'm trying to give Carrot Top a run for his money. See, he actually, in my opinion, does stuff that's harder. I get to use this prop over and over. Carrot Top creates like these intrinsic props that he uses for like 10 seconds. It's almost painful, like how much detail goes into it that he then just is like, he throws them sometimes to me. To everyone else, they're just like, ha 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 ha. I'm like, oh my God, you just put the 2 days of work. Okay. Glory Lord. I'm looking at all the chat. 10 commandments weren't enough. The big 10 weren't enough. We had to get more. Had to bring them on.
I think I
We
saw
had to cover bestiality and pits.
Yeah, that came out. I mean, I don't think you should have sex with animals because I think it goes against consent the same way with children and I guess people with Alzheimer's and stuff. Once again, I think I could have figured it out without the Bible.
Right.
I mean, that's just me.
Actually, people did figure it out without the Bible.
Indeed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
For thousands of years before the Bible.
Yes, actually.
Or as Amy calls it, the Bible.
The Bible.
The Bible. Though I have to give Oz credit for that.
Yeah, that
but
came
it gets lodged in my head. And so now I can't get it out.
It's like that
Good old
Esau the
Bible.
Seesaw stuff.
Esau the seesaw. There's some stuff that once I just see it, my brain
It
just
clicks.
to it.
Yeah.
Helps to remember how to pronounce it, though.
Exactly. And I already, if you could see my spelling, it would just be red lines. And so
That's true, because before you came up with the seesaw thing, she would say it a different way every time.
Exactly. And
You would
so
get
it's
the
like
Esau. It would be a different way of saying it, yeah.
Sometimes it's the Bible. Sometimes it's just me. Yes. As I
The permanent lisp.
woohoo. And okay, we'll keep on going for a little bit longer, guys. The open mic is in chat. So come as you are, just not on the sheets.
Hello.
I'm wondering if once this is over, once you get all the way through the Bible, is there a Skeptic's annotated Quran that you're going to go through?
I'm glad you asked. Why, in fact, there is. In fact, there's two different things. There's the Skeptic's annotated Quran and the Skeptic's Book of Mormon.
Oh,
and I plan on doing both. So
we are going to hit them both.
I think Aaron Ra is doing Aaron Ra and Peter. But go check that out. Shout out to both Peter and Aaron Ra, who are doing their Quran Bible study with a Arabic translator at their side. So
that's Mubarak, right?
Well, they have ex-Muslims, and then they also have one or two ex-Muslims that are actually Arabic translators. So it's like a mix.
Is there a Skeptic's annotated Torah?
We're doing that right now.
The Torah is the first 5 books.
The Torah actually is the Old Testament.
Yeah.
Really?
Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers,
what you're
Deuteronomy.
thinking is the Tanka. or the Talmud,
The Talmud,
Talmud, yeah.
The
which
Talmud.
is what all the anti-Semites they get all angry over, because the Talmud was basically a bunch of rabbis arguing, and
Rabbinical commentary. Yeah.
and it ended up. This is what happens when you write things down. Like, this was all oral tradition, but then you write it down, and then 1,000 years they're like, no, it says it like this, and we can't change it. And so we get into this craziness.
Yeah, especially when it's written down at a time when literacy wasn't what it is at today.
And so it becomes like the Hadith. That's my final.
It'd be like historians in the future finding Donald Trump's Twitter feed.
Yeah.
That's going to be interesting going through all those.
I'll say this.
Kofefi.
I'll say this now. I said this a year into his presidency. I hope I stand by it. I want to wait till all the dust settles down, but one day I want to do a Donald Trump sitcom, like his whole presidency as a sitcom, because it's the only way that you can get all of that gaggle of characters, of seasoned characters going in and out.
Let me help behind
Steve
the
Bannon,
scenes.
Kellyanne Conway, Mike Pence, the whole crew.
I want to let exactly. You get the whole crew. I
Jared
want to let
Kushner.
that subtle, because I want everyone has had their saturation. Let them be calm. Let it be him. We'll have to tell it to our children, and then.
He was at a church for Easter, not far from
or
here.
maybe not that long. Maybe 10 years. Give me a decade. Give me 10 years.
I've got an extensive meme collection to draw from. I'm sure I can do that.
Oh, hey, I'm all for it. Hey, you make jokes. You may.
Randolph's a little comedian over there. Canadian humor, but it's still
a little bit dry.
Amy's the expert here, but
stinks of mapley syrup and Canadian bacon, but it's still funny.
She inspires me to try to add more humor to this.
Woohoo!
Reach for the stars, Randolph.
I'm looking forward to seeing Amy do an actual stand-up comedy routine. I think she'd be good at it.
So I'm going up this Wednesday. So you actually can see my stand-up comedy. Yes.
We'll hold you to it.
I got an opening because if you go and look at the very first uploads on this channel is nothing but me doing stand-up. And I think I could do better now. It's been a year from now. We just got into the whole podcast thing, and COVID hit, and it was just like, but I've been waiting. I have a Ayatollah bit. I have already done. I've probably done half of the Ayatollah bit.
This is like 2 months we've been trying to get you to go back out.
And it's been it's like popping the cherry. I have to get, because you get in a thing and you go every week, and it's like the MC is always like, "I'll see you next week" or whatever. He hugs me. I don't know if it's because he likes T girls or it's just because he's super friendly. But but he always wants to get me up there, and so so look forward to that. And then I almost have a second bit already done. I almost have
congratulations,
politically correct.
Congratulations.
Bit. Oh, thank you. So
you find somebody to record it, or
here's the difference. I can officially call myself a comedian. I hold that badge, but I'm an amateur comedian, and the difference is no one pays me. So I go up on stage. Not yet. That's right. Yep. But hey, there's love my Patreons out there. Love KO Champ and Oz. So we are gonna make more. In fact, we have more awesome shows coming up soon.
Who's your favorite comedian?
Talk show.
Who's your favorite?
My favorite. Are you living or dead? Do I have to?
How about one of each?
Do
one of each.
So the dead is Carlin. He's the reason why I'm here.
Great choice.
And then Alive, which is kind of funny, I think is actually Bill Burr.
Oh yeah. I've seen him twice. He is amazing.
Live?
Live, yeah.
Oh, I'm so jelly. Well, I will one day.
You're so God.
You're so good. And it's so he's like an odd match for me because I don't care about sports at all. And that's
I
like
don't either.
50% of his shtick. And yet he makes it just like I'm trying to make the Bible interesting. He makes whatever he's talking about.
Yeah, you have your sports hat, so
That's right. And I'll tell you, that sports hat is from Norm Macdonald. I got that from he has
He's amazing.
that in red and white. He has it almost looks like a Trump hat, but he bought it before Trump. So he's been walking with that
so Trump copied him.
Yeah, so Trump copied him, and then I just have it in black because I'm a basic bitch who wears black. Also, speaking of black, science like magic.
Oh, that's clever. That's
cool.
good. There was a comedian being interviewed on CBC a number of years ago, CBC Radio here in Canada, and he was talking about how comedians are the reason like so many professional comedians are so funny is because they're really screwed up because they need money. So they sign up for these drug testing programs that they testing new medications before the medications actually go on the market. It's part of the final part of the trials. And you go in and you sign these waivers, and sometimes it really screws up your head for a while because you just don't know what the heck's going to happen. It's like he talked about the Pfizer drug trials that turned out for the Viagra, and it was originally as a blood thinner, and then it turned out that all these comedians are making all these jokes about what it's really doing.
Comedian you're talking about. Now so you say comedian. I remember a specific comedian saying he was a drug tester. Like that was what he did before he got into comedy. But I forget which comedian said that.
Yeah, he was being interviewed on CBC about this stuff and about what it's like to be a comedian, and that was one of the things he mentioned. It was very interesting hearing all that. It's like, okay, these guys need money; they'll do anything, including testing new medication.
Well, when you were starting your sentence, I was just agreeing with you. All comedians are a little
testing
bit
shark
messed
repellent.
up. I think it really is that your brain is like giving you horrible, like you see a baby. And you're just like, it would be funny if she dropped the baby. And it's a terrible thought. You don't want the baby to drop. You're just saying she's being stupid and she's going like this, and it would be funny. But
she's a meth addict.
Back in 2012, I got quoted back in 2012 for saying that stand-up comedians are among the world's most effective communicators.
Rant off. Can I just tell you something? Flattery will get you everywhere.
I said this before you and I ever met. I mean it because I find that like my English teacher in high school he injected puns in. He was so clever with words. He was
very funny.
The right guy for teaching English. He majored in English in university. He told me years later, but. It was so enjoyable, and he made it so much fun because the jokes mixed in make it easier to remember what he's saying. So
it does. Makes it easier to absorb.
Yeah. I had an English teacher who was a comedian, but he didn't teach anything. It was just a big joke, but it was an easy A. Yeah.
He went too far. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
That happens too.
It was an easy A. You just sit and bullshit the whole class, so whatever.
I also have
American education.
I have another attachment.
Keep drinking, Randolph.
Because if you know Bill, well, he's actually he's from Boston, but he had the Philly event.
Yes,
which is what put him in the map. Which is he basically had like the worst. I would. To everyone outside of Philly, they would be like the worst crowd in the world. And to us, we're like, he had a Philly crowd. And he just
the city of brotherly love.
I know. Well, I'll tell you the difference between New York and it is love. The difference between New York and Philly is New York. I'm going to be correct. PC warning. The difference between New York and Philly is that when you're in New York, you're like, hey, you fucking faggot, get out of here. And then in Philadelphia, you're like, hey, you fucking faggot, get over here. So it's just a completely different vibe. PC warning ending.
That'd be funny to see on stage.
I love it. It feels good to be on stage, which is a weird thing. I pace, just going back and forth.
You're a pacer, yeah.
I'm a pacer, and there's different types of comedians. Some interact with the audience. I cannot interact with the audience. So if I ever get heckled, I'm screwed.
You won't know how to react.
Or at least I think I am. I've never had. I've bombed, which
unless
is also
the heckler is a plant.
Interesting.
Unless the heckler was planted there.
Yeah. Well, that's shout out to Patrice O'Neill, who is dead, one of my favorite comedians. But Patrice O'Neill has a Mark Maron skit where he tackles Mark Maron live on stage. So check that out on YouTube. That is on YouTube. Google Mark Maron and Patrice O'Neill, or Mark Maron gets in a fight, because Patrice O'Neill pretends to be a heckler and get into a fist fight. Good times.
You like Andrew Schultz?
Yeah.
Did you see the fight scene with Stephen Colbert, and who was it? Was it Bruce Willis or somebody was on his show, and they were asking you, do your own stunts, and then they had a fight, and then they fought all around the whole stage and ended up getting up in the lights and all kinds of stuff. It was hilarious.
And I love Stephen. I wish I could get him off the Catholic shtick. But besides that, it's so funny. He's like
didn't he go off when he took over from Letterman?
Go off.
Off the Catholic shtick. Like he got away from that.
No. If you ask him, he'll say like, "I'm a bad Catholic," or I try.
Okay.
He's all about Pascal's wager. That's his whole thing.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
He's a gambler. All right.
Yeah, he's a gambler.
Yeah. His kids will be atheists.
It doesn't cost anything to believe in this shit. No, it costs a lot, but whatever.
And that's where that great quote, he was talking with Ricky Gervais. And was, he was saying, "Oh, your science, what's so good about your science?" And he's saying, and basically said, "Well, we have all these." He said, "What's so good about your science books?" And he said, "Well, all of our science books could be wiped away this moment,
and we'll get them all back."
I do think that
slowly but surely we will get every single one of them back.
Yep.
Right.
I do think that Stephen Colbert's very best is still everything he did on The Daily Show with Jon Stewart.
Oh, for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That was the best, especially when he went to the White House and walked around funny and all that. So everything he did was just top of the line.
He had to destroy that character. He's had to be something else.
That was the other thing that, I loved when he was big he was a fake conservative.
Yeah. It was like trolling Bill O'Reilly. That was his thing.
Bill O'Reilly. Oh, and they had an interview together, which is if you want to see two amazing moments, see Jon Stewart
debating
have a conversation with Bill O'Reilly, and they are debating, but John is just making fun of him the whole time.
They did a formal debate between Jon Stewart and Bill O'Reilly, and Jon Stewart pushed a button and his podium went higher.
I think that was for when he had his book. He was trying to sell the.
Yeah, I know. It was good, and Bill O'Reilly played along with it. It's all good for the ratings. These guys all know it, right? But
Randolph, tide goes in, tide goes out.
Yep.
You can't explain that.
Let me see if I can do. I don't want to get too political, but let's see if I can do my three. It's just the looks. Here is Bill O'Reilly. He's just trying to get you. And Hannity he's surprised. He's a little bit more surprised. And then Tucker Carlson.
Oh, here we go.
He's gone over the edge. He's both surprised and a little bit offended that you're saying it at the same time.
Well, actually, you got to remember about Tucker Carlson. He always looks like he's suffering from a serious migraine headache, so he doesn't jiggle around so much. Yeah.
He always looks like. Are you really gonna say that in front of me right now on air?
Yeah.
It's like, sir. Once again, this is Wendy's.
For a bonus, imitate Jerry Springer. Or Wendy.
What's the deal with shopping carts?
Oh, what's the deal with shopping carts?
The comedian Pablo
Wendy Williams
Francisco,
always
he
looks
did
like
a
a horse
good
with
version
a
of Jerry
giant
Springer.
Sorry?
I say
think-
the comedian Pablo Francisco, he did a good version of Jerry Springer, a good imitation of that.
No.
Oh, I thought you said Jerry Seinfeld. I'm sorry.
Nope. No.
No.
I said Jerry Springer. I don't care for the Seinfeld show. I find it's too tense, the comedy. I can't watch it. Too much
One of my-
tension in that show.
And
One of
I
my
still
favorite shows.
saying I like, and not only do you like him, but my brother is a big Tucker Carlson. I'm just more imitating the mannerisms.
Yeah.
I watch once
You
in a
guys
while.
know, like I can do.
Not
do you
every
guys know
show.
who Blair White is? Do you guys know who Blair?
Yeah.
White is?
Yeah.
Can I do
That's
my
awesome.
Blair White impersonation?
Go
Yeah,
for it.
do there. That's it.
I love you, Blair. I'm not criticizing her. Once again, I'm not criticizing anyone's politics. I'm just.
Wendy Williams, I feel like she looks like a horse. Her nostrils come out so big on the camera all the time. It's just the weird camera angles they do on her. It's just
I want you to know, Sunflower, that when you said "you fools," ha 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 ha, I read that in a Power Ranger voice. You fools.
Oh, poor Sunflower. Pick on poor Sunflower.
I love it.
I know.
you're talking about.
What were you gonna say?
You were talking about being on stage, and I look forward to the day I can get on a formal debate on stage and
Hell
in
yeah.
front of an audience. And I always feel like if somebody's kind of doing something in the audience, the word you said earlier, they're making heckling.
Heckling.
Excellent.
I could see myself inviting them to come on the stage. I'll give you 30 seconds. Come on up on stage. Let's do this. And see if the heckler actually takes me up on the offer. I suspect some might, but most probably won't.
Come on up, Darth Dawkins. Come on.
That
You
is
would.
that weird feeling. The moment, it's just like anything. It feels easy until you go up on stage, and then it's like, what should I talk about? And
Yep.
so I have everything planned out. Like my bits are they're monologues, and so I
Scripted. It's a script.
It's very scripted, and
Like
it
Kent.
only looks not scripted because I practiced it. But I mean, that's the shtick.
Cool.
She's practically Dr. Hovind. She's got a little script going on.
Yeah.
I'm
One thing-
loving all the impressions. I want to get Dr. Josh on here. Who else? Atheist Junior. We need to get all of us.
He did a good
there.
Hovind, yeah. Atheist
know.
Junior did a pretty good Hovind, yeah.
I taught biology for 15 years. Buy my books.
That's
I
pretty
went to
good,
jail
actually.
for tax evasion, but that's neither
Fish.
here nor there.
Excuse
Fish
me.
live in
I
the
was taxed.
water. In the water. Randolph takes a shower in water.
Now I have to ask, what does he do with his A? I say water funny. See what I just said? That was my
Water.
Well, it's water.
So does he go hard on the A?
Water.
It's like
Water.
it's like an H sound I hear, like wah,
Water.
wah, like wah.
Water.
Water. No, that's King of the Hill.
Damn it, Bobby.
Damn it, Bobby.
Oh man, that was,
That was
That's
really
great.
good. That was really good.
The boy ain't right, I tell you what.
That was great.
that was good.
I did
That
that
was-
before Atheist streamed the first time, and then everybody's laughing and talking after that, and then Neil's trying to get everyone to quiet down. Hey, everyone, stop. Who said that? Everyone's quiet, and I said, who said what? He said, Who said that in Hank Hill's voice? And then I repeated something in Hank Hill's voice. That was you. Holy, he just didn't even recognize it was me. It was so much fun.
I sell propane and propane accessories.
Propane and propane accessories. You have to
Thank
put the
you.
emphasis on the right syllables.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, I screwed up the voice at the end there. I know.
No,
I
that
should
was good.
practice it more though.
Well,
Hey,
you don't get paid to do it, so it ain't no big deal.
I'm having fun, and lots of it seems that almost everybody has
Well,
this
oh,
one voice they can
see?
imitate well.
See,
Just the
that's
trick is
just
figure
how
out
you
which
know.
voice that
You
is.
even impress Sunflower. You even impress
Hey, thanks, Sunflower.
See?
Appreciate that.
That's hard to do unless you're God.
Hello.
No.
And speak,
I know because I've not received the omnipotence and omniscience, and I know that. I would know if I did, if I was omniscient. I've not received it.
You would know if you were God?
I'm not claiming. No. I clarified this with John Maddox in the debate recently, that like he thought I'm asking to be God. I said no, I'm not, because God has more characteristics than just those two.
Right.
I'm only asking for those two characteristics, because to have omniscience is kind of useful, but it's much better with omnipotence. So I want omnipotence. I want to have the omniscience, so I'll know how to use the omnipotence properly. So.
Oh, so you're a megalomaniac like Darth Dawkins.
No, I only want it for 2 weeks because I want to explore the far reaches of the universe and bring with me whoever wants to come along and bring their cameras and whatever recording device. I want to see what's out there and just do some experiments with this stuff and see that it actually works. And I told John Maddox in the debate, that's what it'll take. That's an example of what it would take to prove to me that your deity is real, is if your deity granted me those for a short period of time so I could see for myself that that's the case. And he misinterpreted that. Oh, you want to be God? No. I don't want to be omnichronological. I don't want to be omnipresent. I don't want any of that other stuff. I'm just only asking for those two characteristics, not all the others. So,
Yeah.
no, that by definition would not be God.
Because John was probably getting ready to crucify you then.
and thank you guys so very much for bringing us back on topic. We're a skeptic Bible study. No, I wasn't being
about
sarcastic.
crucifixion. Yes.
And I wasn't being sarcastic. So we're talking Lawbringer.
And speaking of crucifying people, S.J. Thomason reviewed that debate.
And just so you to remember, really, she reviewed that debate. We should go check out. We've never done an S.J. Thomas review. I always feel bad for her, but then I've been told by people to not feel bad for her.
Hey, you know what you could do? You could do a review of her reviewing the debate between me and John Maddox.
Ooh, great topic.
We absolutely could.
I'll put that in my debate reviews.
Review. Oh, you really want us to go Inception, don't you, Randolph?
Yeah.
That'd be so funny.
He's trying to start something.
And then I'll do a review of you reviewing her review of Randall. And Tom.
There we go.
Sounds great. I'll put them all in my playlist for debate reviews.
That's awesome.
And so we're going to go for about another 20 minutes, but we have been Skeptic Bible Studying. If you'd like to join us at the top half at the end, we are speaking on Lawbringer, the chapter where we have been post 10 Commandments rules. These aren't
Important stuff, though. The big ones. Not as big, but still big.
Yeah, it doesn't get the same PR as the 10 Commandments.
But equally as important.
But equally as important. Unless you ask some of the Christians. That's just the Old Testament. Except the 10 Commandments. That's not just the Old Testament.
10? Now, I remember seeing a video somewhere that Moses had 3 tablets of 5 commandments each, and then dropped one of them and it broke, and he corrected and said 10 all of a sudden.
That's right.
Yeah.
Now you're getting it. I miss Mel.
Monty Python stuff, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It's a Mel Brooks movie.
Mel Brooks, that's right.
Oh, Mel Brooks, okay. Yeah, he's quite
I
cool.
bring you 15
10
commandments.
Yep.
That was a fast
Written
recovery.
but with the rod of God.
Oh,
Yeah.
boy.
I'm curious to know what Pine Creek says. Pine Creek couldn't answer my some question. That's from Sunflower. I'm really curious about that question.
I think the problem is that you're thinking it's not his question. Now, if it is about solipsism, wouldn't it be both your questions as just one?
I only have a single question for solipsists, and that's if they throw a party, is everyone invited? I'm here all night, folks.
That's a good line, actually. That's a good line. That's really, really quite good. It's very positive.
And I actually think that's mine. I don't think I have to put a quote. I'm very big on the quotes, Carlos Vince. Amy Schumer. I shouldn't just be shouting because I love you. Okay.
You like Amy Schumer?
But she's usually quoting Darth Dawkins.
All comedians are biased. They all love other comedians.
That's not true.
That's complicated.
I know that's not true. I'm just saying that.
Amy is she's okay when she has her own ideas.
That's right. We'll keep it at that.
We'll keep it at that. Okay. Skeptic Bibles. We are Skeptic Bible City. Skeptic Bible Study. That's how you know it's getting late. On Lawbringer at the bottom half at the night. Sunflower, how are you? And what are your thoughts?
Hey, Sunflower.
Hello, everyone. Hey, nice to see you.
Welcome to hell.
Hello.
Hey, first of all, I'm a little bit I have a lot of nasal congestion right now. I already have a nasally voice by default, but it's even worse now because allergies. But let me start off by saying that last time I was on the stream, I acted really rude and unnecessarily rude and just out of pocket. And you know what? As much as that's kind of part of my brand, I would like to apologize because I do try to be a good person. Now, with that out of the way,
well, thank you, Sunflower.
Yeah, no, I really like this stream, and the more I watch it, the more I really just kind of like Amy and James as people, even though I disagree with them. Because, you know, I mean, I'm not even lying about that. Like, you know, there are people on an intuitive level. I kind of sometimes think like, how could I like? Oh, this person doesn't agree with what I believe in. Shouldn't I not like them? But I'm like, no, actually, they're actually like to me a good person. So that so I let that be the real judge, my intuition. Anyway, somebody asked me about the solipsism thing.
Okay.
Right. Are you sure they weren't also asking themselves?
That's true.
Good one. Okay, yeah, that's a great question. And so here's what I was trying to demonstrate with that point. I can make it really brief, actually. I think to any person who's simultaneously an atheist, but also, I guess the word would be like an asolipsist, as in like you know, not a solipsist, right? So if you hold the belief, if someone says I'm an atheist and I'm also not a solipsist, I would have to ask them, do you simply behave as though solipsism isn't true, or do you actually believe that solipsism isn't true? I think most people would admit, no, I don't like. Yes, I do happen to believe that my parents and my siblings and my close friends are not robots, and I have no real reason. I have no real great evidence for that. But I guess it's just an intuitive belief that I sort of model my life around and not incessantly inconvenience myself for. And then I would say, well, if you're doing that, then it's kind of, I think, a little bit weird to critique someone's belief in a God claim for more or less the same reason, right? More or less intuitive hunch.
Okay, so I don't. We need to talk about how those are linked together, I think. But as far as I know, I'm not a solipsist, but I don't actually hold a belief in there. So I guess a solipsist, as one word, would make sense to characterize me, because I don't actually have an opinion on it. I don't see how. But here's the next
question: do you inconvenience yourself due to the fact that a God could exist? Like
I don't go that far.
Right. It's like Pascal's wager, right? You're an atheist, so you wouldn't say, "Well, I'm an atheist, but I'm still going to double down," or I'm sorry, rather, I'm not going to double down. I'm just going to sort of like a lot of atheists say that they reject Pascal's wager, so they're not going to inconvenience themselves and say they believe in.
I find Pascal's, I guess you could say I reject it. I find Pascal's Gambit, better known as Pascal's Wager, to be not a very reliable approach.
Exactly.
Because it's wrought with a number of problems. One of the most common ones is which deity or deities.
No, I agree. All I was saying was, atheists are consistent in that, they are very apparently don't make concessions or sacrifices or inconvenience themselves, on behalf of a potential god, right? It wouldn't make sense to do that. And atheists don't do that. To be fair, I don't know that I don't see atheists doing that. However, I do see atheists making concessions, sacrifices, and obviously regularly inconveniencing themselves for the considerations that other people are experiencing the world, having a waking conscious experience in the same way that they are, and they can never have any evidence of that at all beyond an intuitive hunch.
So you're conflating skepticism and critical thinking into this. You seem to be assuming that skepticism and critical thinking are necessary parts of atheism. They're not. They're incidental. There are many atheists who aren't critical thinkers, aren't skeptics, and some atheists actually have bad reasons for taking it as position. I look at it as merely a classification of not believing in deities. Everything else is incidental. So yes. You're exposed on the internet, I think, to many atheists who do value critical thinking, who do value
very fair
critical thinking and attempt to apply it as best we can. But it's important to keep in mind that this is a separate thing. There are theists who are very good critical thinkers as well. And there are anti-theists who are also really good critical thinkers. It's just how things go.
Okay, I completely agree with what you just said. Let me rephrase my position.
Okay.
Let's not go with people that incidentally fall into the category of atheists. Let's go with let's assume that this entire thing is only people who actually deliberately, intentionally, and explicitly label themselves as atheists, and also take a deliberate part of having critical thought be a part of how they arrive or maintain the atheist position. And
that's a clear set of criteria, and that sounds good to me.
Yeah, so I agree 100% that you made a very important distinction. And I want to clarify. I'm not only talking about people that are incidentally atheists.
Okay.
Let's think about a person hypothetically.
Both characteristics. People with those two characteristics. Yes. All right.
Yeah. And why would they inconvenience themselves and make massive sacrifices and all sorts of modifications to what would be, very convenient sort of shortcuts in their life if they simply just said, I don't have any reason to believe that anyone else is actually having a waking conscious experience in which they're capable of, experiencing suffering or pleasure or anything, right? Like, because everyone does this, right? Like if you were, and the best example I could give is something along the lines of, if you were taking a back road, to work, and it was literally the middle of nowhere, and there was a homeless person that walked in front of your car, and let's just say you felt certain, 100% certain that you would 100% get away with this if you just mowed them over and continued to work, and they would experience sort of like no pain, and you wouldn't have to be late to work and potentially lose your job, and you have no reason to believe that they're having a waking experience. Like most people would say, like, no, even if I knew I could get away with that, I wouldn't just mow down a vagrant, And it's like, well, why? I think that brings up like some sort of guilt concept, which doesn't really make sense in my opinion if you're not convinced that the person is actually having experience. Like I would, if there was a rock that fell in front of my car, I would not hesitate to plow into that. To not
What does any of this lack of empathy have to do with the two criteria you set out of critical thinking and not believing in deities?
Well, because I think that there's atheists that sort of play the game of, okay, but I'm like sort of like that's not enough. Like Matt Dillahunty, right? It's like, well, that's just not enough for me to believe. It's like, okay, so is that an argument? Like, yeah, whatever Matt Dillahunty.
Yeah, but what does that have to do with having empathy or not regarding mowing down a homeless person?
After you respond, Sunflower, I think I have a semi-answer. I think an
Okay,
answer.
sure. Yeah,
Then I have a semi-answer after that.
And so do I. Yeah.
Okay, great. Yeah, so I would just say briefly, like, if people are already behaving in ways that are sort of connected to intuitions or hunches or innate feelings that they can't rationally explain, I don't really think if a person already does that, then I don't think it's consistent to discount someone else's sort of position that's sort of why they would behave in a way due to anything. Of course, I'm mainly talking about a God claim here, but yeah,
there are many things about how people feel about things that can't be explained, and just because we're not jumping to a conclusion that it's coming from a deity doesn't mean that we're necessarily taking an opposite view. Just not knowing is the source of these things is something that I think atheists in particular and skeptics are generally okay with accepting and finding it to be quite inspirational for further inquiry and further exploration scientifically, philosophically, etc. And I think where it seems to me that where religion sort of falls down in this area is that people are left feeling very uncomfortable with not knowing an answer and must have some kind of an answer. And if there isn't, then they resort to God did it, as if that's some kind of a default.
God of the gaps, yeah.
And I just want to say, I think there's actually a biological component to why we do a lot of what we do. An example is altruism, and a lot of times altruism confuses people. But I think it's really simple. It feels good to do good. You linger on it yourself. You say, like, there's a dog on the street. You help the dog out. It actually you actually are getting chemicals pumped in your brain when you're petting the dog, and then you get to linger on it in your thoughts and be like, I'm glad I did this. This is the person that I am, and you actually get things back out of doing good. It's just you have to look for it. It's not on the top always, because generally the top is just the person doing the good thing.
Evolutionary psychological egoism is just
to a degree, yeah.
Yes, psychological egoism is just the idea that every action anyone takes is always rooted in selfishness, even though it might seem to be an act of psychological egoism.
Well, the selfishness isn't necessarily direct; it can be indirect.
If someone gains pleasure from donating to charity, then
it can be. It doesn't have to be. Like, I think that, like, when a mom just looks at their child and they just feel good, like just staring at them, it's chemicals. And like when they feed, I learned this with my cat, so it must be this 1,000 times more of a child.
It's just oxytocin.
Just feeding your kid. You're just like, yeah, something right is happening. You don't even know why, but your brain is going, this is what you should be doing. And
it's a hormone. It's oxytocin.
And people can condition themselves to find something to be to cause that to happen, and so they'll. I guess it kind of in a sideways kind of way. It triggers the same kind of things that the selfishness that you're talking about triggers. Like people will like I look at these religions and I see people are praying to Jesus and whatnot, or whatever the deity is, with the hope of having a better afterlife, a better life after death. Now that seems to me selfish in a long-term point of view.
Well, I would just say that we all know that we at least exist. We don't have direct proof that other people exist, but we see other people. They look like us. They sort of act like us. We don't have absolute proof that they are thinking real conscious creatures, but we have no choice but to operate on the idea that they are, because otherwise we'll be locked up.
Right.
Which,
Well,
yeah.
Stop you right there.
That
But
also an interesting reverse point almost when it comes to the selfishness thing. Like, part of selfishness is also the desire to not want bad things to happen to us.
But yeah, so we see other people and everything, but we have no information about a universe creating genie. We've never seen anything that looks like that. We have no evidence that one exists. It's just an inference that you would only get if you presuppose that there needs to be a creator.
Okay.
But it's based on nothing that we see.
Okay. So, James, let me ask you a very direct question. Would you say that you simply behave as though other people and other minds exist, or would you say that you genuinely believe? Because these are two different. These are two different positions. You simply behave as though other people exist because it would be your detriment if you didn't. Or do you actually believe that there are other people inside the minds of the other humans?
And James, before you answer
are
that
there
question,
people inside the minds?
well,
sorry.
let Sunflower clarify.
Yeah.
No, you're doing good.
Other
Or
minds
you're
inside
awesome. I don't know what doing good means.
Yeah.
So you're awesome.
Sunflower's asking interesting questions.
But before you answer that question, we're actually gonna finish up now. But I like this conversation, so we're gonna go for another 15 minutes, and then we'll do outros. So James or Bird, I think he was asking you guys.
Well, I would say I do think that there are other minds. I do think that other people are real, actual conscious creatures. But the whole thing with solipsism says that you can't absolutely prove that. So even though it's what I think is real, even if I didn't hold that belief, it would still be in your best interest to behave that way for selfish reasons or for reasons that you don't want to be an asshole to people, for reasons of empathy. It's kind of like free will exists at some level. And even James on Modern Day Debate said, yeah, the arguments that free will is not a thing actually seem to be better than the arguments that there is free will. But, I think it's better that we choose to behave as if we do have free will, because that's just how everything works. Even though the arguments are actually better the other way, that we don't have true free will.
And I would say I believe that there is other minds. Not only do I believe that, but I think that we, because our niche is being intelligent, have such a bias towards consciousness and brains that we forget that most of life is not conscious.
Yeah. It's just something you can't actually prove, but I definitely believe it to be the case.
Yeah, I'm not convinced that free will is just a myth.
So you guys are realizing that like your entire life is actually dictated by an irrational belief.
What do you mean?
Like you if you believe that you just said that you both Amy and James just said I actually do believe quote I actually do believe that there are other waking conscious minds in the people walking around, and they're not just
But I wouldn't say it's irrational. I'd say I have good evidence for that.
Exactly.
You can't prove it conclusively, but it seems rational.
Wait, let's be clear here. We're talking about phenomenology, right? We're not talking about is this a a very intelligent creature, like sort of like a very intelligent ape. We're talking about the way you personally experience the phenomena of the world, you know, do you have any evidence that they're experiencing it in that way? And I would say that, of course, no. You only have singular experience of your own experience. Like you only have.
I agree with this.
You have personal. This is kind of like I think, therefore I am. Right. This is the whole. That's where that came from.
I only have two presuppositions, which is I think, therefore I am, and logic. They're my only two presuppositions.
Okay, and so here's what I'm saying though. If someone could convince you that you were living in the Matrix, like what was his name, Cyrus in the actual Matrix, the guy that ate the steak. Yeah,
Morpheus?
No, not Morpheus. The guy that like wanted to go, the evil guy. Sorry.
Oh, Snyder. I forget what his
He
name
wanted
was.
to go back. Yeah.
Yeah.
If it was demonstrated to you that the people all around you were just like code the same way rocks are coded, I imagine that you would no longer feel guilt about, like just absolutely like killing, maiming. It would no longer be a matter of, oh, I'm actually potentially hurting another waking being. It would just be a matter of like, will this end up coming back to bite me or not?
Well, it's complicated because it's how you run the hypothetical. Because in the Matrix, if you die in the Matrix, you die in the real world.
And
I would use the Matrix anecdotally, but
that's why, yeah.
There's an erudite point from Sigma Inai, or I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing it wrong, from the chat. It says, can one mind not be creative enough to imagine the creativity of other minds? And I think that's an interesting question, but I think, of course, the answer is yes, that a mind can be creative enough to imagine what's in other minds. Now, this is going to be based on what the creative, I guess, what we know of the capability of our imagination, which seems to be pretty well limitless. We can imagine anything, as far as we can.
I don't totally understand what he means by the creativity of other minds. Like, what does that exactly mean? Imagine the creativity of other minds.
Well, it's kind of assuming that we're assuming we're all on the level playing field, in some kind of fundamental way, in that we all have this capability, it seems, to be creative. Some people tend to be more creative than others in certain things like art or singing or writing or whatever we're doing, right? But in various forms of art. But I do think it's a very good question to ask, because it kind of highlights that, we can probably create an idea that is something that somebody else could also create.
And I think that I know what consciousness is. I know it's a bold claim, but I think consciousness is the mechanism by which animals gather energy, get rid of energy, and sometimes have sex on the macroscopic landscape.
Good to be conscious when that's happening, yeah.
Doesn't that assume that bacteria are like having a conscious experience?
I've been thinking about that a lot lately. I've changed my definition because I realized they may have a mechanism that may act like that, because consciousness is a mechanism, but I don't think that they have a mind, because I think a mind actually needs a network. You actually need to be bouncing these signals, so it comes together. The cells, the neurons all come together.
Yeah. The human mind, yeah. I think our consciousness is pretty well useless to us without memory, though. It operates on...
Yes. So I have stages. I'll give you, and we should do consciousness. I'm proposing a.
You ready?
A 5. I know James has heard me do this. A 5-stage model, and so and each layer gets us close to what we call human. I think what we want in actual synthetic consciousness or intelligence. The first layer is hardware, is the brain.
You need to have the hardware layer. It actually needs a physical medium to sit there. And my analogy is normally the computer hardware. We then we're going down layers. We then go into the mind. The mind, I consider the software layer. It's running a whole bunch of different programs, not all of which are conscious programs. You have your heart beating, your body is digesting.
Autonomic stuff. Yep.
But then you also are able to go like this, and then you're able to go in between. And you're able to make your breathing. You're able to control your breathing because that seems to be there was an evolutionary advantage. So some programs seem to be conscious.
Systems better than others. Yeah.
Exactly. Some layers seem to be conscious somehow. So we're going down. So now we're at the program layer. The program layer is consciousness. And consciousness is a mechanism, just like digestion. And what is a mechanism? What am I saying? And this sounds philosophical. I actually think it's a robotics definition that I've created. But a mechanism is any system which accepts inputs, I already skipped it. A mechanism is any system which can be turned on or off. When on, it can accept inputs, receive outputs, and then loop back to itself. That is a mechanism. That's what consciousness is doing. That's what digestion is doing. Now, we only have consciousness. You could say something, you could say a snail's conscious. You could say someone who is just staring like this is conscious. That's not what we are. So we have to go down layers. We have to go down to what I call sentience. And sentience is a combination of two very specific qualities. It's memory and emotion. Memory and emotion. With those two combinations, and I could prove this with a mouse in a maze. What the mouse is doing is that they have a memory. They go, okay, I have been through this maze before. Not only have I been through this maze before, but I had an emotion, and I'll tell you what an emotion is. An emotion is a label on data. It's how you feel about data. There's the data. Emotion is a label on the data. So not only did the mouse find the cheese, but got all this dopamine and attached it to the memory and could do it again. That's sentience. Now you're saying, okay, that's fine. But there's no mouse that went to the moon. Show me moon mouse. Well, that's because we actually have to go to the final and fifth layer. We have to go into introspection. And this is what only a few animals have. And you see this in... And what introspection is, before I say it, is data about data, metadata. You're thinking about thinking. And we can see this in the mirror test. In the mirror test, we are going and painting something on us or on a creature, and the animal goes, the elephant or whoever goes, I see it. And I can actually do something now with this data that I have done. So introspection, sentience, consciousness, mind, brain. All those definitions. That's my model.
Wow. That's it.
You blew his mind.
That's well thought out.
I'm obsessed.
Amy?
I have a log of of all these different points that I have. I'm trying to write a book, but everyone's trying to write a book. That's what everyone says. So I'll tell you what I've done. There you go.
I'm not.
If you write that up in a document, I'd be happy to post it under the ideas section of the Atheist Frontier.
Really? Hey.
Yep.
I want to get it out there.
Just before, I know we don't have that much time left, but I just have one question.
Sure.
If I programmed a robot to be so intelligent that it looked like to you, it would look like it was looking in the mirror and passing
It passed the Turing test
yeah. Well, no, it would just pass the mirror test, right? Like,
and the mirror test. And
so that how do you know that that's actually like you only know that you passed when you look in the mirror? This is phenomenology, right? You know you passed the mirror test. When you see something else look like it passes the mirror test, all it's doing is looking like it's passing the mirror test. The notion when you look in the mirror and sit and feel, oh, that's on me, right? You only ever can know that you're.
I can answer that.
Okay.
Because what you're basically saying is, and I can't completely eliminate. You're saying what about false positives?
Exactly.
And I will say that I can't eliminate a false positive, but that you have to go in and create the false positive. As in, you have to create a program that's just there to try and trick you and to emulate you. What I want to create, we're a combination.
Sounds like God at this point, like intelligent design.
I do want to have synthetic children. It's complicated. But the difference is I developed this theory by just asking myself a single question. And it's, why do cells need consciousness? And I've been thinking about that for a very long time.
They don't.
And they absolutely do. In fact, I'll tell, we are one of the, consciousness is one of the major branches, because I put consciousness with animals. They go hand in hand. And when the mitochondria revolution, whatever you want to call it, when we actually started to make multicellular organisms and things started to get big fruiting bodies, which is what we are, there was an arms race. And the first one there was photosynthetic cells. They actually had, not only did they have a symbiosis with mitochondria, but they had a symbiosis with photosynthesis. So they actually have 3 sets of genes. And they are what I consider the defensive mechanism. And so they just sit there and they just collect energy and water. And I see Will saying plant. And so plants have their multicellular organisms. And so we keep on going down the list. So that was already taken. So then we have fungi and humans. And fungi, or not humans, fungi and animals. And fungi and animals are mirror dichotomies of each other. What fungi do is they grow onto a structure and then they release their digestive chemicals onto the structure and break it down. We do the exact opposite. That is what consciousness is. We move and we take food and we put it in us, and then our body breaks it down. And that is why we have consciousness. I'd be willing to bet my life on it.
And I've got a lot of consciousness right here.
Wow. It's just the one thing that I've been obsessed about. I still want to do a podcast on consciousness where we can do we can just all do chatting and our ideas and stuff.
I'm serious about putting the article up, dude. If you do that, I'll definitely support you on that.
Okay. And so I will. If you are asking those questions for me, I would say that the plants aren't conscious. That's my point. Is that or that they're not. And then cancer is interesting. I will say cancer is interesting because cancer is a mutation of us. It's almost like an evil us. I don't know. It's a very weird phenomenon. It's a runaway effect of it trying to become its own organism.
The problem with evil is that it implies intent. Destructive would probably be better choice of wording, I would say. Just
wait, Amy. Based on your theory, you believe potentially plants are even conscious, like not just.
I used to think that, but I think it was a wrong definition. because I realized that my mechanism definition used to muddy that with the consciousness definition. And what it is that plants may have mechanisms that may have one or two features that are like consciousness.
Yeah, they definitely react to their environment, but that does not mean they're conscious. And they're not sentient either.
Well,
it's how conscious are you?
Exactly.
Okay, that's interesting. How conscious are you? So it's a spectrum?
I would say that it is a spectrum because you could be out of it. In fact, if you think about it, consciousness really is it starts with the ability to be turned on and turn off, and all the grades of shade of you waking up and getting to full consciousness and then leaving your consciousness again, going back into sleep.
Right. It's just like someone that's had a lobotomy definitely does not have the same consciousness that I do.
Well, okay.
Answer is like, why are we talking about consciousness?
About couscous.
About
couscous.
Well, I guess my question would be, in the hypothetical example where you're driving to work in the desert. I know it's weird, but you're driving to work in the desert, and you feel as certain as you've ever been that you could get away with any crime in this patch of land you are in because there's just no laws and there's no security and no cameras and there's nothing. Now, okay, like you can go down the list. Like now, a tumbleweed rolls in front of your car. You're gonna plow that down if it means you can get to work on time, no questions asked. Okay, now you see a cactus. Okay, now that's actually kind of alive. Okay, now you see a fish jump out of the water. Is that a little bit more alive than a cactus? Maybe. Now you see a chipmunk. Now you see.
I can tell you where the edge is. The edge is viruses. The edge of life is viruses. That is basically they have some traits that we absolutely define as being alive, and then they have their missing traits.
Well, I'm not even asking about what's alive. I'm asking about what. At what point do you feel guilty? Do you feel more guilty for running over this thing? If it means
I've had too much DMT. I feel guilty. If I ran over a cactus, I would probably feel.
Okay,
I know it sounds crazy. That's part of the reason that I struggle with veganism. Like, it almost sounds even. I'm not a vegan, but I'm at the point where it's like the animals are individuals, the plants are individuals. But I mean,
it actually doesn't sound crazy.
Life. Oh, thank you.
It's surprisingly consistent, I would say. Actually, like for someone that has the view of consciousness that you just explained. That's exactly what I would expect someone to say is like, well, I might actually be apprehensive to run over a cactus. Yeah, like that's exactly what I would expect. But I guess I was assuming, maybe wrongly, that most people are of the position that, yeah, I'm in the desert. The cactus doesn't even show up on my radar in terms of whether or not I'm gonna mow it down. The squirrel, a little bit. The dog, definitely. The person, okay, now we're getting into like I'm going to swerve out of the way. I might even die myself. So it's like the idea, the consideration we have for other things doesn't, in my opinion, it's kind of black and white for most people in terms of, is it human or is it not?
And a lot of people I think there's good evolutionary reason for this, that we go towards our
own species,
or closest species and things like that. Plants are so far away from us that they're just the decor. Like we just walk by plants like nothing.
A lot of people kill other humans, though. So it's like if you can kill someone, kill your neighbor, and then drive to work and cut the wheel at 90 miles per hour to avoid hitting a stranger. That's kind of weird. Like, is that do you have that's a human being. I could never hurt them or as much as you could say we have sort of innate respect for or empathy. Like we also kill and destroy each other just as much as we have a kind of innate affinity for each other. So Yeah, that's not. I don't actually have an answer. I'm just kind of posing like, yeah, but isn't it kind of weird? Like, yeah.
And I just want to clarify, Will. I think yes, I do. I differentiate between consciousness and sentience because I think there are some things that are conscious that
Are
aren't
not
sentient.
sentient.
Because
Exactly.
I'll give you a good scale. A snail is conscious, but is it sentient? A dog is sentient, but is it introspective? Dolphins seem to be conscious, sentient, and introspective. So it really does seem to be how far you want to go down with it. And okay, it was totally my fault too for going off topic. I love consciousness. I can't help myself. And it's been a fun conversation.
This is very interesting.
But it was interesting, yeah.
It was.
Really,
And okay,
really
guys,
yeah.
are you ready to start the outros?
Yep. I would like to say one thing to Sunflower.
Absolutely.
I think a lot of people make a mistake in saying, well, Matt, let's say, because you use Matt Dillahunty as an example. Just find out what Matt Dillahunty would have to say and don't expect anybody in the atheist community to speak for him. You know, I don't think that's fair. But if you have like a general thing about atheists, that's different than saying what Matt Dillahunty would say, you know.
Fair enough. I've tried. He's said on more than one occasion that he will never have me on his show. He said "fuck you" to me. He said, you know, he said I really, really, from the bottom of my heart, think he's one of the most pathetic and tragic men that's ever existed.
Okay.
And I really mean that. And I mean, Amy and James are people that are so much more intelligent than him. Like I couldn't even put it into words. I think he's a coward. He has inner feelings of insecurity, and he's been running a talk show for like 30 years. The man is a failure. His career is a joke. He's never done anything important. He's a loser. So thank you for that, but that's my answer.
Well, I mean, that wasn't what I was going with that. You know, that's your own opinion, whatever. So that's
and
it.
see, I like Matt. He's
a nice guy. I've met him in person.
If I was Matt's producer, I would just block comments from Matt.
He's not a nice guy at all.
What
do you mean he's a nice guy? Have you seen his show? He's a baby. He's an infant. He's infantile.
I've met him in person. He is a nice guy.
I've never seen a more infantile man than him. He shuts people down. He hangs up on them. He gets really pissy very fast. He got cucked by David Silverman. He's a real loser, man. He is just the absolute bottom of the barrel. He is
no. I disagree with this.
He is pathetic, and I challenge him to a debate if he ever hears.
Then why do you want to know what he has to say about a certain thing?
Because he's one of the most prominent atheists.
So,
well,
you said all these things like he's a loser, and you say all these things. Why do you care what he says?
Well, of course, I'm going to reference one of the most like well-known people for a viewpoint if I'm trying to criticize that viewpoint, because clearly he's beloved in the atheist community, and I think he's an absolute pathetic joke. So yeah, of course,
he's a firebrand.
Sorry, which atheist community are you referring to?
Yeah, exactly.
All right, I'm not going to drag this on any longer. Anyone can look up Matt Dillahunty.
No, I'm asking you a serious question because there's multiple atheism communities. Is the point I'm trying to make out? To say it's just
fine.
Community is
if
a big
you
mistake.
Google like atheism, I'm sure just Google atheism. Matt Dillahunty might come up.
Yeah, he's well known.
That's all I'm trying to demonstrate here. That's all I'm trying to demonstrate here.
When you look up atheism, of course you're going to find people who are famous and well known in the atheism communities. Yeah, that's normal. If you look up philosophy, you're going to find famous philosophers names come up all the time. So what?
Well, yeah, Dillahunty is a hack, right? Hitchens, Dawkins, at least these guys had successful careers. Dillahunty is a cuckold man with a goatee, overweight, wears Hawaiian shirts. The guy is an absolute.
Okay, those are ad hominem attacks.
Of course they are.
Relevant to your argument. Like hang on. It sounds to me like you're really bitter.
Yeah.
Towards him I am. He's a toxic piece of waste.
Well, forget it. We don't want to hear it here. It's it's not constructive here.
Bird brought it up, not me.
No, you brought up Matt Dillahunty,
Okay,
not
okay,
me.
you re-brought it up. Fair enough.
All right, guys. All right,
I think
did
I know why
everyone?
Matt blocks you.
We're about to go into outros. So before we bring it back to law, we got all our consciousness out. We're streaming consciousness. Okay, that's good because you know what we're gonna do now. Oh, James got summoned by Satan.
Uh-oh.
Okay,
Yeah.
giving out timeshares.
He gone.
But that's okay because we're about to. Woohoo!
Wow. You're getting really fancy.
Get fancy. You beat me to it, Jinx. Exactly. So we're going to be going in opposite order, which means Sunflower, you were the last to join us, and we have been Skeptic Bible studying on Lawbringer. This is fresh after the 10 Commandments. What are your thoughts on, everything we've been, anything we've been talking about, and anything about laws?
So honestly, no, I really do love everyone in this chat. I think you guys are all genuine people, and of course, I have there's countless times where I become nasty and emotional, and I regret that. But at the end of the day, everyone in this, at least in this panel right now, I think is at the bottom of their heart at least a well-intentioned, genuine, honest person. Now, I'm not going to even bring up the aforementioned person. I don't feel that way about that guy. But anyway, in regard to the laws, I don't have a lot of respect for the Skeptic Bible only because I actually think that you could probably make the same exact criticisms if you just only use the King James version. It's just that, like, the translation that the Skeptic Bible offers is a lot more accessible when you want to make sort of like sarcastic prods. And I understand that. That's the show. I'm not dissing that. But in terms of like a legitimate Bible critique, I don't know that it really brings that much new to the table. But regardless, I still think Amy and James, you both put on you guys do put on a pretty good show, and you guys, although anyone else, they're going to make the occasional joke or tongue-in-cheek remark. I feel the sense of sincerity in you guys, and yeah, that's about all I have to say. So, thanks for having me on.
Well, thank you, Sunflower.
Thank you very much,
Thank you.
Sunflower. It's good to have you on. And okay, we are moving down. Bird, we have been Skeptic Bible studying on. I have to be extra. I can't help myself. On Lawbringer.
Give him the bird.
Give
Give him the bird. Oh. Yeah, cool show. The more and more I read into the Bible, I think it's silly, but that's my own opinion. That's it. That's all I got for tonight.
So be careful with your pits. If you dig any pits, be careful with them. Yep.
That's right.
And thank you, Sunflower. And okay.
Yeah. Good night, son.
Good night, Sunflower.
And we're moving right along. Randolph Richardson. We have been Skeptic Bible studying. We have been bringing the law and order. What are your thoughts on the fresh take right after the 10 Commandments? More laws.
Where's the RCMP?
In Canada,
There you go.
mostly. We do consulting elsewhere, but the RCMP is that anyway. But there's this idea of a book that's about 2,000 years old, is it, roughly?
Ish, yeah.
Yep. Which is scattered with sorely outdated ideals and bigotry and sexism and misogyny and a hatred for people who don't believe in deities or don't believe in that deity are to be killed. There's some very serious problems with this book. So I don't look at it as a guide to morality. I look at it as a story that's not appropriate in this time. And I disagree with the Ten Commandments. I think they are black and white, typically, and that they are problematic for a free and fulfilling life in this day and age. I live in Canada, where we have a legal system that is based on the fundamental principles of justice, which the Holy Bible's commandments and laws are not. One of the biggest problems with the Bible being any sort of a legal system is that the punishment is always burning for an eternity in torturous hell. And I can't think of a single finite transgression that would be that an infinite punishment could possibly be suitable for. This is not consistent with fundamental principles of justice. It's abhorrent. It's wrong. And I think it's unethical. So I don't respect it as any kind of a moral guide or any kind of a legal system that would match modern society. And I even question its appropriateness in ancient societies that I think could still have done a lot better. And I think modern legal systems are a wonderful demonstration of the fact that we do better, a fact that we're looking at rehabilitation rather than punishment. And in our systems is, to me, a very positive sign for humanity that shows that we're much better than old-fashioned stories. My name is Randolph Richardson. I am the founding president of an organization called the Canadian Atheists at www.canadianatheists.ca. One of our aims is to normalize atheism in society. You can read more about that at www.normalizeatheism.ca. And in the near future, I'll be co-hosting an atheism call-in program here in Canada with a gentleman named Neil, the 604 Atheist.
Nice.
And you can find out more about that at www.truenorthtalk.ca. Thank you, Amy, for having everybody on and hosting this wonderful program. And to everybody in the chat who's here attending this and watching this, our audience. Thank you very much to everyone.
Thank you, Randolph.
Thank
Great
you,
to have you on,
Randolph,
as always.
for being on. And all right, James, take us home. We've been Skeptic Bible studying on the Lawbringer. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I still like the Lawgiver from Judge Dredd better. It's more, more to the point. But yeah, that was a few very difficult chapters today. Some of the more dry chapters we've gone through, but sparsed with some cruelty and some very questionable ethical principles, some very questionable legal standards, even for the time, as Randolph pointed out. I think even a lot of people 2,500, 3,000 years ago would have looked at it as, probably not the best way to organize society, probably not the best way to do a legal system, but hey, it's the gift that keeps on giving, and that we have lots of content from it just pouring off the pages, because we're only halfway through Exodus. We've got like 63 more books to go, and that's even before we jump into the Quran or the Book of Mormon. So stick along for the ride. It's been fun so far. But yeah, thanks guys for watching. Thanks guys for coming in. Sunflower, Big Screen Bird, Randolph as always, and to my lovely co-host Amy. Thank you.
Woohoo!
And I've got the
thank you
glasses
so
to
much.
match your sword,
Oh,
Amy.
snap. I will say, Randolph. Dun dun dun.
You've
Dun
got
dun.
two. Oh, look at
Ah,
that. That'll go perfect with your Minecraft sword.
That's true, right?
But what would Hank Hill say?
Damn it, Bobby.
Bobber.
Minecraft
Waiting
ain't
for you,
right.
Randolph. You're topping us off. There you go.
Put that sword down.
I cut you off. I'm sorry.
They should be burning propane in Minecraft, not coal.
And okay.
Filthy.
Praise Jesus.
Praise Jesus. And all right, I hope you all had a fun time on this episode of Skeptic Bible Study Lawbringer, where we got 2 full scoops of laws and rules to enjoy. I want to thank James W. with our guest host, Randolph Richardson, Bird, and Sunflower, along with all the lovely people in chat and our awesome mods who make this stream so great. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that all button icon so you can be part of our live streams for YouTube, Twitch, or Facebook. And if you'd like to help make more fun content, feel free to check out our Patreon at patreon.com/Amy Newman. I'm Amy Newman, and I'll see you all on the next episode of Skeptic Ball Z.
Watch out for those demons. Hopefully the sun will rise in a few hours. Yep. We'll find out.
The Exodus ain't right, I tell you what.